Howdy folks, welcome to Adventures in Albaron Courts of Everest, our original D&D campaign. I am Joe Treff, your DM this evening and most, and joining me are my friends Vincent, Hannah, Kara, and Alana. We are down a Matt and a Tina tonight. They will be rejoining us next week, assuming that Matt/Ori makes their flight. We are going to be playing some D&D tonight, but a couple of quick announcements. First of all, we played Mosaic Team 5, our original Starfinder campaign last night. The party did a great job moving the plot along and
so good,
really hitting all of their attacks. And so that's something that you can see when it re-airs at Albaron RPG. I mean, with so many, you would think at least some. But at Albaron RPG on YouTube, that is going to re-air at noon on Sunday, followed by this at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless I accidentally click 7:30 like I did last week. In which case, that is when it's going to re-air. We are also at Albaron RPG on Instagram and other social media. We have a website, albaronrpg.com, that has finally been updated, and you can go and see character bios for all of the Wandering Hearts. It has highlights for each of the characters. It has a bunch of information that you can go and see. That links from both the Courts of Everest subpage and the players page. And there'll be some other stuff that is going to be added along as well. If you do, or if you didn't watch last night, another great reason to watch it is because there was like the sort of state of Albaron RPG. There's a couple of things that we're going to be doing next over the course of this year, including a number of original one-shots, one of which is going to be featuring Brenna, one of which will be featuring Billy, one of which is going to be really just wrapping up our campaign and actually probably sort of starting us off on the first one-shot arc of 2025, which is going to be Eleanor Windwright related. But all of that is going to be on YouTube at noon. And then I think that's all the announcements that I have. And so now, what?
Oh, nothing. It's just like we all get one shots and Vincent's just like,
don't worry.
Yeah.
So
you got to put in your time.
No. But for Valis in particular, we can't do one right now. Like, so
remember how Billy destroyed some core memories?
It's time for this week's session of Courts of Everest. Oh, it didn't work. My stinger didn't work. Okay.
The stinger!
The stinger.
No.
Oh, well. It's because my thing froze.
Oh, no.
Elgato Stream Deck. In a world.
Nice.
So actually, I guess I'll just get us right back into our recap.
Sirenscape. We're supposed to say it,
Oh,
right?
man, I wish this was working so I could clip that. So unfortunate. So, I'm going to go. That's awesome.
Oh, Matt gave us a wheel.
Yay! Thank you,
sorry.
Pat.
No, that's so good. Love that. Wandering Hearts, last we played, you approached Jacaranda's Grove, a subdomain within the forest that was known as Root Creep, where two venom trolls were known to be guarding the still sleeping guardian known as Jacaranda Indigo. You maneuvered into perfect position for an ambush, but at Valis's insistence, allowed the troll to pass, ruining this chance and instead starting combat at a slightly less advantageous position. You did attack, mindful of the troll's poison that soaked into the ground all around you as you received damage. Unexpectedly, a centaur sorcerer had joined the pair over the course of the long rest. He cast haste on the trolls, allowing them to close the distance rapidly. They managed to resist elements of magic and began to contaminate the pond, but quick casting Mold of Earth by Minka provided some protection. I can't remember if it was Mold, Earth, Shapestone.
It was Shapestone.
Shapestone.
It was the big one.
It was a little bit of protection. Ori walked the ridgeline with their bow, firing at the trolls who moved so fast it was difficult to keep them in range. But he was able to hit them when it counted. After felling the sorcerer, you made quick work of both trolls, damaging them through the regenerative process enough that it really didn't count for anything. And as you gathered yourselves up, you awoke Jacaranda. You spoke and learned from this millennia-old being about the Coven, as they were old enemies. Jacaranda offered you help of Root Creep and began to wake the others, but offered you a trip right to the edge of the Candlestick Forest when you were ready. She did warn you of one of your companions in particular, perhaps having some more complex ties than the rest of you.
Who is that?
But as you finish a rest of an indeterminate period, that is where we begin this evening.
Never seen that person before in my life.
Give me just one second.
It's fine, guys. Everything's fine.
Everything's so fine.
During that session, while Joe gets ready, neither Kara nor I were there, and we were texting because I was watching and she wasn't, and I was like, "Oh my God, he mentioned this, and it was very upsetting.
So.
I wasn't even there for my own doxing.
Right?
Oh man, I can't wait for this session. So, Wandering Hearts. All of you currently stand around Root Creek, where there are a huge expanse of trees that have primarily cleared a path for you and a space for you to settle up some semblance of camp. Now, are you taking a long rest or a short rest? You have completed a short rest, we will say. And at the moment, it is 4 p.m. It would be probably a little difficult to sleep. I mean, you only slept maybe about 10, 11 hours ago. So what would you like to do?
I thought we did take a long rest.
So that was my assumption, but then I was hearing from others that was not the case.
I don't remember taking a long rest, but it's very possible. I didn't mark it down either. So it's very possible that it just didn't, and we did, and I just forgot because that is 100%.
I think we were just leaning towards it, but
one because we had 8 hours anyway because Jacaranda was doing the ritual, right?
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
I'd like to vote that we took one.
Agreed.
Because I already put it on my character sheet.
Same. So
Alice
ordered.
is trancing.
Let me just edit my header here real quick. It is the 29th of summertime. Midnight. Sunday. You all finish your now longer rest and take a little bit of time to figure out what your plan is. You do see that off in the distance, Jacaranda, this a shriveled treant with a huge crown of purple leaves that really, in their vibrance, take over the space and dominate. Standing next to a much larger treant, and this one you had actually seen kind of standing over, and it looked like a massive oak of some kind, and now standing up. It is a towering creature, and you can see all around it the elements of space seem to glimmer with this kind of interior magic. And as they move, you can see already like new leaves beginning to sprout and bud and turn yellow as they seem to grow in elements of their foliage that had fallen away. And actually, because we were passing it, I was going to go grab another treat. Just in case.
Why do you need to grab stuff?
No reason.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't you want a buddy?
A buddy? You know what? I do want a buddy.
I think we have a little bush buddy too, right? Just because of
Oh!
Hi, buddy.
So many arms!
He's got
some
at least
like
three.
it.
He's got
Nice.
enough.
Oh, man.
He's got enough.
Guys.
1, 2, 3.
This thing that the influencers do.
Hold up the makeup brush, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's 4 arms and a very gnarly face with an excellent beard.
You can find a link to it down in the description below. Use my promo code.
And there's a little thing that says like paid sponsorship at the bottom, but they're really getting into it. Like you almost believe that they love
That
the
they really
product.
love it, yeah.
Yeah, just exactly like that. So, you can see that this other treant now towers over Jacaranda, whose roots have formed these vaguely leg-like shapes that still cling to the rocks around this pond. They seem to be just awaiting whatever it is that you want to do. But what would you all like to do?
Well, I think before we go see the hag, we might need to know more about what we're actually up against here.
What?
Well, Billy, you know the most about hags. And you, Jacaranda kind of told us that you know them a lot more than we thought you did. So...
Billy doesn't want to get smushed. Oh? Billy's gonna kind of look around at the party and just feel a vibe.
So, Minka is kind of just like tugging at her hair real bad.
the point where you're like slightly worried about the friction. It's like slowly frizzing.
That hair's not gonna be there in the morning if you keep doing that.
Alina has positioned herself squarely next to Billy, and like almost like shoulder to shoulder, and just kind of gently whispers, "It's your choice, but we are about to fight hags, so."
Well, I do want to kill hags. So they usually come in. How much did it tell you?
And Billy, as you gesture over to this huge tree ant and the other smaller one beside it, the huge one just kind of like you could see flicks a huge branch and more leaves grow, and they're kind of preoccupied with that. But the one with the purple foliage just glares at you, and you can see even in this moment, like the leaves kind of go down and the wind becomes noticeably colder.
She jack around the purple flower tree.
They, maybe just to be safe.
Ah.
How much did that one say? I don't want to repeat myself.
Well, she mentioned that your aunties were a coven of hags,
Yes.
and you are connected to them, but like in a more tangible way than like just being like related. I'm not explaining this very well. So before we go any further,
Minka's gonna like reach out her hand and like gently like touch Billy's arm and go,
the past doesn't matter as long as your future is in motion. We leave behind who we are when we step away from that. It's more important what you're doing now, and I trust you. I think we just really need to know what we're going up against.
There will be 3 of them. Even if you don't see 3 of them. They don't go very far from each other. They work better together, but also not. You know, you have like the sibling. You know, you have the sibling, and you work well together, but it sucks. If you get rid of one, you decrease the power of the others. Get too many in one group, though, and it's not great. They each, at least the ones I knew, have different specialties to make up for the specialties of others. And usually they're related in some way so that they can kind of work together, which makes sense that there would be someone who works in dreams, someone who works with sleep and mind-altering things. We need to focus on one. We need to stay awake. And don't follow anyone.
Even if it's one of us, can we follow each other?
If you see someone who looks hurt, don't help them.
Oh.
If you see someone who looks sad and lonely, don't talk to them. Just leave them alone. Even if they're small and seemingly helpless, leave them the fuck alone.
Okay.
That might be hard for me.
I was about to say, Valis, you're like looking around. You can see a little bird up in the tree and a tiny little squirrel. This is a place that is teeming with life, and they're very curious about all of you. I mean, the treants have allowed you in after not allowing people in. So even when you were walking, you had the rows lined with animals. Might be a little tough.
Alina did you say that out loud? Might be hard for me.
Yes.
Alina locks eyes with Valis, and she's like, do you need a leash? So that you don't wander off after an animal that was supposed to be menacing. But instead it was confusing. How do you like having me on this side? Look, okay, forget I said that. Rewind for a second. Look, how can we help you stay on task?
I'll try to keep it in mind. The warning helps, but it is just in my nature to help those that need help.
I know, but, you know.
They don't need help. They just look like it.
The warning will help.
We'll keep an eye on you. Well, is there any kind of preparation that we can do before we head in there? I mean, I know a couple of us don't have to worry about sleep spells, that kind of thing. Was I there last week when they talked about, last time in the conversation when they talked about, like, the sleep fog or whatever?
Yeah.
And there was an item, but past us. Like,
Correct.
Yeah.
So, no, well, okay. So
I don't remember, but it felt important.
you know that there was an individual who used a staff. They were a spore, and they had a staff that was brought, I don't remember how much they said. Essentially, this thing was able to ward off the effects of this mist in a certain radius and would be very useful for traversing this place. However, as this treant had been asleep for quite a few years, perhaps has missed the fact that a giant red dragon at one point swept across and burned anything related to mushrooms or rot from southern Everest. And so
It was Zai.
Somewhere very far away, Brenna cringes and she doesn't know why.
It was Zai or a Zai. I forget if that was a name or type of being, but some mushroom thing. And the staff was a salt staff from the Underdark.
correct, yes, that's what it was. Salt staff from the Underdark.
All right. Well, is there any kind of preparation or protection from, the influence of a sleep type spell?
Well, Jacron did mention that the mists are part of it, right? So if we can keep them at least somewhat at bay, that might help. But
Yeah, she said the mist do the hag's bidding.
oh, she also mentioned if we're too dumb, it won't work.
If we're too dumb? I feel like most of us have that covered.
So I mean, like, I could theoretically turn one of us into something that simple-minded for a while. It obviously won't last forever, and it won't prevent anything from happening should they regain their faculties. But
That's a good thing to have in our back pocket.
I'm naturally immune to sleep, and I can help one other person. I have a spell that can protect from evil, which I think might help in this case.
How long
But it only
does
lasts
it
10 minutes,
Oh, okay.
it
assuming I can maintain concentration on it.
it can work against Fae. Do hags count as Fae? Are they Fae? Are hags just hags?
Some
What
are.
Okay, it's not. It's like a layer.
Oh, does Billy know that? Kara knows that. Does Billy know that?
Make a I would say make a,
That's deep.
oh man, I'm stuck in Starfinder mode now. A cultures check, a history check, thank you.
Don't worry, we can translate.
Yeah, no, I know.
Billy rolls so much better than Echo. That's a 16.
Okay, so I would say, and actually roll at advantage. I don't know what I was thinking.
It's a 16.
16. Billy, I would say that you are aware that unlike giants, hags don't necessarily fall into a hierarchy, mostly because they just mostly hate each other. But there are hags that have different origins, and that really affects what you might think of as their, like what they would be considered. Hags originally come from the Feywild. That is where they originate from. A number of them have traversed into the mirror plane of the Feywild, the Shadowfell, and they typically seem to be a bit more fiendish in nature. You've heard that there are other entities that might be classed as hags, and those might be even different. But with the 16, I think those are the major groups that you're familiar with.
I think we learned last session where the hags are from, right?
I mean, you
Specific
know.
region of the
Oh, so well. No, so you
Underdark.
learned where the staff was from, I believe, and the staff was from a specific region of the Underdark.
No, I think it was like from the
Bog? It was
Oh yes,
Bog.
right, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the Merkendraw.
Mercandraw.
So that's where all hags originate from, is the Merkendraw, and the Merkendraw is a specific region in the Feywild.
Okay.
Well, and Lena looks at Jacaranda and also the new friend and is like, any advice? Any other advice?
So she's like a good 50 feet away, really keeping a distance from Billy more than anything else. But trying to engage her, she'll get up and the roots crawl across the grass, across the
I
distance.
can walk over to her. If it's obvious that she's avoiding Billy, I'll walk over to her.
Okay, so you kind of meet halfway through.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
she
what's your
stops
name?
over and just goes, I can't hear that well. What was that?
I just asked if there's any last advice you can give us before we go to the Candlestick Forest.
Well, let's see. What have I already told you? I think I've mentioned most of what would be helpful. You know not to sleep, of course. You could see he considers for a little bit. I've been asleep for a long time. It might be helpful to ask someone more relevant.
Is Pinecrest around? I don't know how relevant. Oh, I'm asking Joe. Is Pinecrest around?
I mean, you look around, you don't see him, and this Pinecrest is kind of in charge of guarding the whole of Root Creep at this point, so probably off on that duty. But you do see Oakermane, this huge treant that is kind of off and still working on their foliage.
While we have a moment, Minka's gonna think about the arcade nature of the mists, because she can like create fog and destroy water.
Mm-hmm.
And basically she's gonna like think and be like, if I create mist, does that dilute, replace?
Make an Arcana check.
Yeah. Not great. I think that's a total of 8. And that's
Well,
being generous.
When you create mist, by that very nature, it will create more mist. And so, yeah, probably.
Right.
But who knows? I mean, it might make it stronger. It could also very potentially. So when you super concentrate mist into an area, that can create like a spark and actually a relatively powerful explosion. But who knows?
And it's Candlestick Forest, probably very flammable.
The reason that well, make a nature check.
Separate issue.
We almost got him.
I think I rolled the same number, so it's very low. But I think the total is slightly better. 11.
The Candlestick Forest. You've never really heard of this place, but owing to that, yeah, probably. I mean, fire, bad. That's what comes to mind.
Mechanics question. So the spell Phantasmal Force does specifically say that it creates like it works with nightmares and fears and stuff.
Correct.
Could it be cast in such a way that it simply created an illusion, period? Or does it, like, would you...
Like without the harming effects?
Yeah.
Make an Arcana check.
Uh-oh.
I had to do a quick like mechanics query.
Oh, thank God.
I could.
23.
For that to happen, Yeah. So, I mean, yes, it is theoretically possible. The ways that you would be familiar with people manipulating spells in that way would almost certainly be sorcery, in the ability to alter the very nature of spells. But something about that, being able to do something like that, you would imagine there are probably other ways. And those ways might be facilitated through items, items that very specifically would protect an entity from that type of damage, perhaps.
Okay. So my understanding is that there are ways in the world that it could happen,
Oh,
but
certainly.
probably not something that I'm capable of, like individually.
Currently, no.
Or, right, it would be very risky and probably not worth the risk if I were to try.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So,
Looking at the spells,
Our-
looking at the spells.
plan is to not sleep, find them as quickly as we can, potentially try to isolate one,
Yes.
and
Don't help anyone.
don't help anyone. Okay.
Why is the helping of anyone bad?
You got attacked by a horde of orcs and an Etten. Those don't just casually roam around and happen upon a group of adventurers and a large treant and decide that right there, that's what I want to kill.
You are looking for kindness in the wrong place.
Is that Ochre made?
That is just Jacaranda, sorry.
Matt has suggested coffee or for higher levels cocaine. He's also going crazy because his notes are right here in this room and we refuse to check them.
That's your sacred box.
Okay,
Max.
but
no one
how-
goes in the box.
First of all, I just very distinctly remember the only page of notes I've ever seen from Ori is cow Ori. So I don't know. In my mind, those notes would not be the most helpful. But maybe the other ones are a little bit cleaner.
So the only other thing we really know is that the salt thing worked. So if we just absorb the mists in something, maybe that could help.
I don't think I have anything that can do that.
Me neither.
Hey, Rez, any ideas? You're here, right?
Yeah, no, I'm always here. What?
Hi, buddy. Just any ideas? Have you been listening?
Not really.
Yeah, okay. So we're about to go into like a spooky, sleepy
Can I have some of
forest.
that chocolate? It's just hard to focus,
because Hannah is pounding a handful of like 10 Hershey's Kisses.
Well, no, because you guys obtained chocolate finally, and
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
very first time in a very long time, it's available.
All right.
I'll break off a little piece and give it to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I'm not proud, okay?
No, it's okay, bud. It's okay. So listen, we're
Is he
about
visible?
to.
No, and so you're
he's
seeing
never
again, just like
visible
the
unless
chocolate
we
and
say
then
Oh yeah,
like
the chocolate is visible.
a windshield wiper.
Okay, so we're about to head into a spooky, sleepy forest, and we can't fall asleep. Otherwise, we will get
Why are you going into a spooky, sleepy forest if you can't fall asleep?
hag
That's dumb.
killing. You're dumb. No, you're not. I'm sorry.
You asked me the question. How am I dumb?
Okay, so any ideas for how, like anything that could help us stay awake? Just like in your experience.
I mean, aside from like black vein elixir, or maybe, I mean, really, you could just kind of push on, but yeah, you're mortals, like not especially. You guys kind of die if you don't sleep, I think.
We do kind of die, that's true. But, I mean, I don't know.
This is
Okay,
conversation
well,
out loud.
yeah. What was the
we could.
The
Valid
elixir
question.
you said, what was it?
Black vein elixir, I've never had it myself, but there's a couple of people who come through the hills every now and then, and, they tend to pound a lot of it for some reason. I'm not sure if it's a causality thing or what, but,
Okay.
Don't forget the other objective there is to find the thing that Hirsum said is in there.
ooh, or bunta, maybe for higher levels.
Just
I always
That was
kind
such a deep lore moment there.
I mean, this item, according to Hirsum, is quite powerful. I kind of assumed that if we find the hags, we'll probably find the item too. I mean, it's as good a place to start as any, right?
Does Billy know how to make the black vein elixir?
I would say probably not. So black vein elixir coffee was invented by the but the Duergar of Darkholm during the reign of that council that the Fate Changers put down. So black vein elixir is kind of hard to come by. Yeah. Anyways.
Another thing we've cursed the world.
Set coffee back.
Really did much more harm than good. No,
Debatable.
okay.
Debatable.
We killed the bad guy. Anyway,
Are we the bad guys?
we very often were. Anyway,
Rude creep.
Check around.
I think. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
No, I was just gonna be like, maybe we should just go.
Check around. Do you have anything in this forest that we could use to help us keep awake? Any like herbs or anything like that may help keep us energized for mortals?
Oh, yes, I was hiding it from you. No. Valis, I
wasting time
promise you,
begging Joe,
I
the DM,
will
to throw us
try to
a bone.
help you. And I could summon the Root Creep Menagerie to help, but they won't fare well in combat, I'm afraid.
I think it's time to go. We've got no other resources at hand. We've asked all our questions. We've done all our preparation. If we're going, we should go while we're now well rested. Because, like, we just woke up, right? Or, like, you know, yeah. So, like, we're well rested. This is as good a time as any. Probably the best time to go.
Not wrong. So?
Any...
Sounds good.
Cool, thumbs up. How about you, Minka? Ready?
I think so.
I'm not asking Ori because he's brooding over there. Cheshire's presumably nowhere to be found, but I call out.
Where is Cheshire?
Cheshire, I hope you're listening. And then I make a mental note, as usual, to get Cheshire caught up on the plan whenever she reappears.
That sticky note right back up on the mental
Oh yeah,
task board. Yeah,
it's there. I will never forget again to explain things to her on the way.
it's a good task.
I want to go up and talk to Okramain.
Okay.
Hello.
So you head over there, Minka?
No, I know I have a spell in here.
Okay. No worries.
And I can't find it. My eyes have gone blind.
What's the spell do?
It happens.
Just locate object. I found it. I was like going through the alphabet.
Can I locate the mist away? What I would say, okay, yeah, so you go over to Okramain, no problem. He has this huge tree, and you can see this oak tree kind of twists the ends of their branches and pulls away this last little sprig of bright yellow leaves, and kind of like looking and trying to look at his own canopy. He just goes, "Oh, that's perfect." Oh, and he bends down and just down to one knee, right in front of you, Valis. Hello.
Hello, Okramain. Greetings. I am Valis
I
Birchbillow.
see my reputation has preceded me.
Yes.
Valis Birchbillow. A fine name. Fine name.
Thank you, good sir.
What can I do for you? I hear I will be accompanying you to battle.
Yes. You and will be accompanying us, the Wandering Hearts, as we make our way into the Candlestick Forest to try to kill some hags.
The Coven of Unrest. Dangerous. You are wise to bring me. He
How long have you
stands up.
been asleep? Or you were
Right
just
back down.
awoken?
Well, that depends. What year is it?
I tell him the year. What year is it?
1481.
1481.
He nods and says, I don't know then, but quite some time, I would imagine. But we should be off.
Let me
Jacaranda.
introduce you to the rest of our merry band.
Okay. So he
Anyone married?
walk over to the merry
I
band.
feel merry
To
now.
the married band.
To talking to Okramain.
Married band?
Wandering Hearts, I will be accompanying you to the Candlestick Forest, where light spirits will lie in wait to take you in your dreams, but fear not. I will keep you safe, tiny creatures. And Jacaranda kind of nods and pats him on the back and says, there, Oakerman, there'll be time for all of that later. Are you all ready?
Minka's gonna do a rock check to find rocks that would be good for magic stone and stick them in her pockets.
Yeah, make a nature check.
I feel better already.
Well, you can throw the rocks at somebody if they start to sleep.
10.
A little bit. And Minka, interestingly,
She also has magic stone.
it seems almost like with the way in which like you maybe have kind of disturbed this space. The rocks in the area have formed a single sheet over the pond, and there's not like a whole lot of pebbles around.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because as you look at that big rock, you can certainly see elements that you have fused together of jasper mixed into the very mundane granite. And it has this beautiful red and like deep, deep crimson patterns underneath. There's a vague bit of translucence to it, but it's fused in.
Oh man, how could I do this to myself?
Okay, ready to go, I think. Jacaranda, if you would be so kind.
Now I'm going to bring all of you to the giant juniper. It is right at the edge of the Candlestick forest, and it should be relatively safe. Be cautious. The sap, it does carry the larva of a fly that is not quite pleasant for your kind to come into contact with. But avoiding it should be fine. And it's not the worst parasite. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
She goes over and you can see there is a huge, like almost ledge area of rock, and similar to what you had seen behind the vineyard that you had all passed, huge drape of like vines and various bits of vegetation. And Jacaranda begins to concentrate on this, and as they stretch out their arms, the wind picks up a little bit, and you can see the area behind the vines begins to glow. And as she kind of chants in Sylvan, she stops for a moment. The glow dies down a little bit, and she says, "Is everybody ready?" Okay. And then she like casts a spell. You see the light to light. And in this moment, there is this "me first," and then Oakerman has to like belly slip and slide into this portal and just disappears beyond.
So adorable.
Or all of you enter.
The grain.
All right.
Yeah, we go.
People
Do
go
this
through.
Before we were gone, like Kara and Hannah,
Yes, the two of you.
Billy had asked Alita to check for something on her back.
Yeah. Do a mole check. We decided
Did we
that happened
find we find a scary mole?
when we roamed away and she got called out by the tree.
So,
I don't like that start of that.
in that brief kind of flashback, as you guys are all like making your way through, in this, even though it only takes like 6 seconds to go through, in this moment where you guys are like on the subway looking out like the flashing green lights going by, you think about this event that took place several minutes ago.
Sorry to derail this.
Sorry, but thank you.
I need to know.
Rain falls down, Dido begins to play, and so as you kind of went back and you looked at the very back of Billy, worried that you might see some kind of thing, there is nothing that is especially out of the ordinary, although I mean, Billy's skin is green all the way through and kind of has this element purple all the way through, very specifically that shade. Not purple, but purple. Much softer, closer to lavender. No especially creepy mark. But make an Arcana check.
All of it's creepy.
Ooh, 10.
Big rolls tonight.
Woo!
And you feel good about that. I mean, nothing on Billy. Good old Billy.
I think you're good.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Billy thinks back to that moment. It's just like, man, I'm glad I'm good.
Oh, remember that time I said you were good?
Yeah,
That was
it's
really awesome.
the best.
You all out one after the other to Oakermane, who is like already looking around, their branches spread out, ready to fight. And you enter into a sort of clearing. There is a huge juniper behind you that you have all popped out of. There's no leaves on it, and you can get the sense that it is vaguely alive, but there are quite a few open wounds to this tree. And from it, there is a dirty green sap that kind of leaks out. And you do see in this these kind of almost leech-like shapes that pulse and move through it. The clearing is mostly dirt. There's nothing that grows within about 50 feet of this tree, and it does sit surrounded by a thin ring of water. You can see there are some vague shapes that move through the water. It's only about 10 feet wide, and so easy enough to just jump across. There are a few boulders and dead trees that litter the landscape. About 30 feet away, there are living trees that begin. They have raised roots, unlike things that I would say many of you have seen before, with the exception perhaps of Billy and Alina, who have been to the Feywild and seen these trees before. They are Sakasima Sanoki trees, and so these are very much like raised roots. They grow in places typically where like water comes in and then comes out, and they need to stay upright. Although there is no water here, save like little tiny bits and ponds underneath these trees. You do see here and there off where the mist begins to form, just beyond, there are twinkling lights, and every now and then you see them wink, almost like sunlight off a phone screen or a belt buckle, but very quickly as you like squint and look, it's just swirling mist. What would you all like to do?
So she's this tree is like on the edge of the forest, right? So is it clear which way is further
Make
in
a perception
and which
check.
way would be leaving?
It's not on the edge of the forest, so you're in like a clearing. It's almost like this tree is like a comet that struck this ground, and there's just nothing growing in a ring around it, and then very much like a sharp 50-foot ring, that's where the other trees begin to grow.
Okay, 18.
With an 18, you look around and it's difficult to kind of get the sense, but you on what you can see behind you, you see elements of like a mountain in the distance that kind of looks like the Execration Mountain, and so this is probably more on the southern part of the Candlestick Forest, but not the edge by any means. So you imagine you probably want to head north,
Can I
northwest,
tell which way
northeast.
is
Yeah, oh yeah, easily enough.
north? I think we should go north. That way.
And you point directly into the fog.
Yes.
Billy grabs a pinch of time and dust and says, I can maybe take one of us out of the spying equation at least.
Of the what equation?
And Billy casts non-detection.
Oh.
I thought you said spawning, and I was like, what are you casting? Okay.
You said one of us?
Only one.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, that's good. Okay. Good job.
Give me 1 second. Let me look at that spell real quick.
Oh.
Doesn't work.
So you cast that spell, and as you do, the mist kind of swirls around. It's a great spell.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Can you see why the paranoia takes it?
Okay. Everybody make a perception check.
It's just gone.
Natural
think it's
one.
something
I am
else.
distracted by the gross tree.
16 for Alina.
Okay.
Has Alina seen her do this before? And if so, can I have advantage?
No.
14.
And because of that, no. 14, okay.
Oh, me may one?
Ooh. Yeah.
Perception?
Yeah.
27.
Okay. So you cast non-detection. And Billy, you know when have you ever used noise-canceling headphones?
Has Billy ever used
Has Kara. So when you turn them on, you know
so
how
many times.
you know how the sound just and just goes down. It's like that had been happening all along and you weren't aware of it. All of a sudden you hear wind, you hear birds, you hear like Valis kind of crunching, you hear even like the passing of mist through branches for just a second as your hearing becomes so sharp because something was almost certainly hovering around you for a very long time. And in this moment, it no longer is. The rest of you just see Billy kind of like look around a little bit, but no real notice of any change. And Billy, your senses come back to normal relatively quickly, but it's jarring.
Billy? Okay.
No.
Talk later? Talk later. Okay.
Why are you not okay?
Is it the
It could
tree?
be relevant to where we are.
The tree's really gross.
Okerman drops down to one knee, arm still held out like this, and he turns and looks and goes, "What are we fighting?" Small creatures.
I don't think anything yet. I think we're just assessing where we are.
This was explained poorly. He gets back up. I will keep a perimeter. And begins to like kind of head like about 25 feet off, so he's not quite at the edge, and then just like peers out. You hear like the creak of wood, and then he will keep watch.
Okay. Sorry, that was hilarious.
Okay, where are we? Okay.
Matt has described him as Tree Roy Jenkins. I'm sorry, I'll stop bringing up.
That's really good.
That's really good. Man, Matt, I wish you were here.
Oh man.
Okay.
I love you, Matt.
I can hear everything. And I couldn't before.
Valis, your sending stone, you feel it activate.
Hold on. I think Harrison's trying to get a hold of me.
Finally. Mean us.
So you press it, and as it comes on, you can hear there is music in the background. There's like chatter, and you hear kind of like very close to the stone, Valis, I'm terribly sorry. I've been incredibly busy. What can I do for you? Did something happen?
I don't even remember why he called him in the first place.
No, I just wanted to update
What did you all just do?
We just
I can't see you.
used that plant move through spell to go from Root Creep to the Candlestick Forest.
So you say that, and he just kind of there's like a silence on the phone on the stone, and he says, "Well, what is it that I can do for you, Valis?"
Just wanted to let you know how we were doing. Should I not be doing that?
No, it's quite all right, and I appreciate the check-in. But yes. You're in the Candlestick Forest.
Yes.
Excellent.
We awoken Jacaranda in Root Creep. She had questions about the pact, and we told her the pact still holds, as far as I understand it. And I think I wasn't supposed to say that.
It was a fascinating pronunciation.
Fascinating.
You've woken Jacaranda. That is the important thing. Do you all need me to remind you of the details of this assignment?
Yes.
Very good.
We're here in the Candlestick Forest to get... Oh, it's not a belt. I thought it was a belt. It was a garb of some sort.
The warlock thing.
The warlock thing of the thing, Gloom Rider thing.
The waistcoat of the Nightmare Rider.
That's why I keep thinking it's a belt.
A vest. It's been a month.
It's much more than a vest. I would not dispatch you into danger for a vest.
Real that day I wore a vest.
This
we
is an
may end up-
artifact of Sir Nunos himself. and something that is quite important for all of you
I
to
can't hear
possess.
this. Isn't it
All of
just
us, not
only
just.
he can hear it?
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
Just-
Okay. We may end up. We are preparing, steeling ourselves in case we encounter hags, as we expect to while we're in these forests.
Yes, you will.
Okay. I just wanted to let you know where we were.
Valis.
Yes.
The stone goes silent, and the sigil just goes out.
Oh, did he say anything important?
He asked what did we do, and he said that he couldn't see us. And that seemed to have surprised him. Also, he reminded us that the waistcoat of the Knight Rider is a very important item for us to get.
Well, yeah, we knew that already. Like, did he say why?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming if it's similar to any of these beads, it may make one of us, as he mentioned, the best version of ourselves. So.
Okay. Guess Lena's not gonna get that tidbit about Sir Nuno's.
Did you say?
But it was an artifact of Sir Nuno's.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sorry. I thought he already made that clear.
Maybe he did. I don't remember. It's been a month.
Did you say he can't see us anymore?
Does that mean he could see us before? What the hell, man?
That seems to be the implication.
Did he say us?
You remember him
He
saying
said you. So I guess he was referring to me.
Or like y'all? Did he mean y'all?
He didn't specifically say y'all, but in his vernacular, that's probably not the word he would choose.
Well, we don't have a version of it
Well,
in English.
he said
I'm
you, and
sorry.
he was talking to me, and I just
Dennis.
assumed that there is a veil in these woods that we just stepped into that would make him not be able to see us. Does that seem reasonable?
That would make sense. I'm weirded out by the fact that he could see us before. Like, that's the part I don't like about this.
He contacted you. How do you know when he contacts you? Like,
The sending stone beeps. Blinks. I don't know. What does it do?
It's a sigil that blinks and it buzzes a little bit, so you can
yeah.
feel it. It's a kinetic jolt.
Blinks and buzzes, the sending stone that he gave me.
so you know when approximately he sent you a missive.
No, when he sends the missive, he's actively calling me. It's not a message. I understand it to be instantaneous, and it's...
So he calls exactly after I cast a spell on one person, not all of us, just me, and he can't see us anymore.
Does seem coincidental, but it also could have been from us coming into these woods.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I understand what's going on here?
Sure.
Or some kind of check?
I would say, yeah, go for it.
Arcana.
Yeah.
Oh, natural one!
So you get the sense that Hearson has been at a party and probably pretty distracted by that. And so, I mean, he might not even be paying attention. The dude's kind of a dick. I mean, he's sending you into a forest against hags.
Yeah. Look, I don't think it's that important. He's probably, I mean, he's just a dick. Like, I don't know. I mean...
Well, regardless, I don't want to be standing next to this tree anymore.
Yeah, this shit creeps me
This is
out. Let's,
There's just like dripping green sap, and it's not looking great.
I think we
That's
should just.
not how, like, most trees are.
Alina's just going to lightly leap over the, you said there was water around
Yeah,
it?
little ring of water that goes around.
alright,
Okay.
Prunk.
Easy pronk.
Yeah.
jump.
No problem. One by one, you make your way across the water and out of the dirty little clearing and a little bit closer to this tree line. You can see about 30 feet into the trees themselves that begin to grow. That is where the fog becomes thick, and it really swallows up the Candlestick Forest, which rises up beyond. And you can see there are junipers mixed into these really high rooted trees. you see these dull motes of lights kind of winking off in the distance. They are almost like lanterns that are being carried through the mist before they just disappear and reappear a little further along.
Billy, do we follow those lights or, like, not follow them?
Does Billy know?
Oh, I don't know. Like, that seems like the sort of thing Billy would know. But
Make an Arcana check at advantage.
So
Natural 20.
hey,
nice.
Super quick flashback, and Billy, it's you. And you are saying, if something tells you to follow it, don't. Just
Right.
don't follow it. If
You
it
did
seems
say
hurt,
that.
doesn't matter, just don't follow it.
Good job.
As you act, and Billy, you're like, you know what?
approximately.
You have heard not only. First of all, thank you guys for giving me such great opportunities today. But secondly, secondly,
I rolled a fucking nat 20 for a bit.
no.
I'm so sorry.
After the Thursday I had.
You get the bit too. So,
Sorry that you
No.
wasted your natural.
the answer is no, you do not. Because there are a number of things that this could be, and none of them are good. Will-o'-the-wisps are creatures that oftentimes hags will surround themselves with because they very specifically damage the thing that they tend to attack. And so you don't want to follow them if they're that. They may not be. From this distance, they look different than others that you've seen. They could be other things like active lures to pull you in. They could be illusions.
They're not the will-o'-the-wisps that Billy's seen before
No.
in the forest.
No.
I feel like I should clarify why I asked that. I guess what I was wondering is, like, those lights, I don't know if they indicate that the hag is over there and we want to find and kill the hag. That's just what I was
believe I
wondering.
remember being told from Jacaranda that we will not find the hags and that they will find us. And I don't think we came with anything prepared to counter that. So it seems as though
You didn't tell me where we're going.
So,
Like 10
He says
feet. Calm down.
he was like 50 feet away going around the perimeter of the forest.
And he, like, around the whole perimeter.
Yeah, he was like walking and looking. He's like actively unlike your party, he is actively keeping watch.
Okay, it's been like 3 minutes. Okay.
we're going north, correct? You said
Yeah. Okay, let's get moving then, right? So superhero guy, Okerman.
I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah. I think we're gonna just move north, and maybe you should stay with us now.
Have you been in these woods before?
I've not been here before. The hags still live, but we do need to choose. He stretches all the way up, and at his full height, he's like close to like 16 feet tall, and just peering, he says, "Up ahead, you will have trouble going. You'll need to choose. Are we going north, northwest, or northeast?
What do you see in those directions?
The woods grow dense, Valis, and you will not be able to pass. Not easily, unless..." He goes all the way down. "Can you fly?"
I can.
"Ah, then this one will have no trouble. Can you?"
I cannot. Could you carry me?
"I could.
Oh.
Wait, you can fly?
No, I can carry Valis.
Well,
Okay.
he's saying I may have trouble getting through, but
I get you.
I
But
may not.
I am the first treant of Root Creep to learn evocation magic.
That is genuinely dope.
Yes.
She uses the
I
Sylvan word
don't
for
know
dope.
what that is.
No, she uses like the Sylvan slang word or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, I mean, if flying is a good thing, our party has found ways to fly before.
But it's probably important that we stick together.
Yeah. We typically don't get to use things of party members who aren't present at the game, so.
Could you carry all of us?
Oh, like in Lord of the Rings.
Of course I could, but it would be more expedient if I only carried 2. But I absolutely could carry all of you. Easily.
I can
Inside check.
Make an insight check.
I'm rolling like absolute terribleness today, but my insight is very high because Minka's very wise, and I definitely just rolled a 10.
Yeah, he's a tree.
So you said don't follow the lights? Oh, did you say anything out loud about the lights?
I did.
Okay.
So, if we want to find the hags their way, we follow the lights. I say we follow north because that's the direction to go.
Which way were the lights heading off towards? If we...
So you look around now, right on the edge of the woods, and you can see them to the north. You look off to the left. You see a few there, but maybe fewer. And it's kind of hard to tell because, like, they'll wink out and then they'll reappear elsewhere. And so they're kind of all around.
I agree with Billy. We should just go north.
The best I can offer is if we get close or start to think we might be getting close, I can see if I can locate the waistcoat.
Yeah.
This tree... which edge of the Candlestick Forest are we on? I'm not familiar with the tree that we came out with. Do you know?
You're asking Okerman?
Yes.
He would kind of look around and say, well, let me ask my brothers. And he stands up and like really stretch, and like there is a shimmer in the mist, and like there is a bit of a wind to it. And what was your question precisely?
Which edge of the forest are we in? Like, where are we in the forest? Are we in the southern part, eastern part?
We're in the wrong part. There's no hags here. We should depart north.
All right.
Takes a couple steps and turns to see if you'll follow.
Due north, I follow.
Yeah, we follow.
There you go. You head north. So
I'm sorry. I think I might have zoned out for a second.
No worries.
Why was flying going to be helpful?
there are areas, he said ahead, where the trees grow so densely that it would be hard for you guys to really like fan out and just like wander. And so you would kind of have to choose like a path.
Okay.
But if you guys are flying, you guys could just fly straight over. So that wouldn't be a problem.
Thank you.
So you begin to walk through the Candlestick Forest. And who's taking the lead in this adventure? Or are you letting me? Okay. Billy.
I'm right
You
behind
lead
them.
the group into the forest, walking through the trees and into the mist, and for just a moment, you can hear so well. You hear the birds, you hear the kind of whistle in the wind that goes through the mist and the trees here. And for just a moment, you can hear, "Come home, Billy." But you lead this group into the woods again. Roll a D100.
Ooh. Joe's got a table.
Huh?
I said Joe's got a table.
I always have tables. 60. I love making tables. It's like a fun experience for me.
It's backwards. It's a 6.
That's a very different number.
Hopefully it's like divine intervention. The lower the better.
It's like you take the 6, and then you times that by 10, and then the other one, for some reason, which is 2 digits, that's the single digit number.
So, Billy leads the group into the woods. Billy, go ahead and make a survival check.
Guidance.
I can try to be better, be like that.
Big bear hug at all times.
There we go. Survival check, you said?
Yeah,
18.
18. Okay. So, Billy, you begin to walk. And as you do, you lead the group through these trees, and there's a few things that you become aware of. First of all, though this is certainly like some kind of magical mist and it is a little bit oppressive, I mean, you just got all this sound back and now like the sound kind of dies down, almost like freshly fallen snow. It seems to kind of dampen sound. And as you kind of look around, you do notice that there is like still life here. So you hear birds, there's a lot of like creatures, and you hear shifting through the woods, and that definitely kind of reminds you that Valis frequently will interact with creatures, and so that's something that does bear watching. You see signs of various birds. You see signs of quite a few different lizards, creatures that have these kind of elongated feet that seem to slide through the mud where you find it. You also, with that check, actually, it's pretty good.
It's a wonderful way of describing crocodiles without saying crocodiles.
You can infer whatever you want. If you would like, you can make a nature check and you could maybe be a little bit more specific. But you also find with that check, as you are moving, there is a fallen tree. And for like a long time, it's almost melted into the dirt here. But there are a number of toadstools that have grown out and around, and in one of them in particular, it's almost cleft in half, and you can see currently dead, but at one point, almost certainly, the larvae of a fly of some kind, and it's huge. This seems to be roughly the size of like a clementine, maybe. It's very bulbous and large, and even in death, it's like kind of hardened there. And something about that really doesn't belong. You're not immediately familiar with what this is, but something about this screams of death to you. This is the kind of thing that you would find on a corpse. With an 18, you also find a couple of tracks on the ground that do not belong to animals. You, being from Thornholm, are very familiar with Harengon, and so there is at least one that has made their very light-footed way across. Almost, with an 18, almost impossibly light are these footsteps. And they are heading north as well. And that is what you would find. And you walk for an hour, for 2. And Billy, there comes a point where after that second hour, you find another set of tracks. Actually, you find a few. They're yours. They wind in from what you could have sworn was the west, but couldn't possibly be. You were heading north.
Billy, draws her short sword out of her, sheath just a little bit, okay, and kind of presses her hand enough on it to, cause damage.
Okay.
Has anything changed?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Do I see the tracks?
Billy's was gonna look over and say, "Okay, do we see footprints?"
Yeah, everybody sees footprints. Your own.
And while we're walking,
yes,
Minka would like to think about if juniper trees are native to this area.
Yeah, sure. Make a nature check.
Ooh,
I'm gonna guidance myself. Thank Christ, I've rolled well for once. A grand total of 26.
Oh,
that's pretty good.
Yes.
Give us some good information.
They are. So what you're looking at is natural flora and fauna to this area. Everything that you've seen so far, with the exception maybe of Harengon, they typically stay a little further south towards the portals of Feywild, and you'll also see them kind of congregate around civilization centers. But that's a little bit unusual. I think the thing that really kind of strikes you, the only thing that really doesn't belong is that weird, and Billy, do you point out that kind of maggot thing? Mm-hmm. Is that. And that in particular, I would say with that check, you know that as a maggot of a dead arm fly. Dead arm flies are these creatures that typically live within humanoid corpses, and they typically will crawl on you when you fall asleep and begin to feed, and that will cause paralysis of limbs. It can cause all kinds of side effects, and that's in the saliva that issue really is. But they only are found in corpses.
So the fact that there's just one dead means that there was a corpse, at the very least, nearby.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
maybe flying overhead. I mean, there's a bunch of ways it could get there.
Evidence that there was a corpse that's not here anymore. Don't love that.
Billy points at the log. When you say log blocking the road, do you mean
It's not
like
blocking the road. No, it's like falling on the side of the road, kind of.
log? Or are we talking like knee height lower?
Like knee height lower.
If you give me a minute, I could try
Billy
something.
goes to like examine the general shape of the log.
Okay, so
not
you walk
without
over.
touching. Does not touch.
You walk over to optically examine with only your eyes the log.
Go ahead and do your
Minka,
thing.
what are you doing while Billy really sizes this log up, takes stock of it?
Can I ritually cast detect magic?
Yeah, so you can begin to cast ritually. You can ritually cast detect magic. It will take a bit, but
She does
you
that.
Is
I want
that
to
10
talk
minutes
to.
or an hour?
10 minutes.
Okay. Dope.
Javaris.
No.
Oh,
Alina. Seems that we found our foot tracks again. Would it be helpful if Rez were to, scout for us from above to help us make sure we're not going in circles? Because I imagine it's probably these mists that are making us.
I was
go in
thinking that
circles.
too, but Rez, cover your ears for a second.
do you really think I'm gonna do that?
No. Okay. Sorry, that was a rude thing to say. Look, I'm a little worried that because this is a sleepy, spooky forest, that maybe if you separate from us, you might fall victim to the sleepy, spooky forest.
Whoa. Of all the people that you're worried about here is me?
No,
You
I'm
could just
worried about lots of people, including you.
Okay, that's fair. But I mean, of all the people you should be worried about, I am probably the least.
I know. I just, I don't know. Yeah, but I'm thinking like a worse thing could happen to you than getting, killed, which is actually like, I mean, it's not.
No,
good,
there are
but-
definitely worse things that could happen to me. Like I could have to go back to the hills. That would be worse.
Right,
But
where the hags could find you and, I don't know, like, use you somehow. I don't know. Listen, I'm sorry. And I
That's
go a little
messed
more,
up.
But
Alina, that's. You know what? It's okay to have dark thoughts sometimes, as long as you don't act on them. So that's okay, I guess. But
anyway, okay. So, what do you think of Alice's idea? Do you want to scout for us?
he kind of tugs you over away from Valis.
Well, we can communicate.
Okay, so telepathically he says,
I
look,
just assumed-
I don't want to, kind of on principle, I want to go look, but I can't see through this fucking mist, so it's not going to be helpful.
Yeah, that's fair. So just to clarify, Rez and I both have like special extra dark vision, but that doesn't help us here, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's fair. Yeah, so like I don't think even if Rez were to scout that he'd be able to see anything because it's misty. It's fucking misty.
Okay, so he wouldn't be able to see us from high above.
That's what he thinks.
Are these trees leaves or without leaves? In the
With
forest?
leaves,
With
the ones that you've
Okay.
seen so far.
All right.
Trees, leaves.
Okay,
Maybe.
that was just an idea.
Yeah. I wonder, would it be helpful though to send him straight up above where the canopy, just to see if there's any like, I don't know, landmarks, clearings or that kind of thing? Rez, can you just go straight up and above the canopy and see if there's any landmarks or clearings or that kind of thing?
In your mind, you hear him say, yeah, but make sure you tell Valis that I'm doing it, okay?
Yeah, okay.
He goes up and you can see like the mist swirl as he does like a
You could
corkscrew.
have just said out loud that you were gonna, okay.
I'm going up!
Good luck.
It echoes. If you go into his eyes, like up, and it's just mist and mist and mist and fog and fog and fog, and then poof, right through the top.
Love it. I am doing that, by the way.
Yeah, and he looks down and he just sees like a swirl of white. And there are places here and there where trees do poke out, and you can see in one place off in the very far distance what looks like maybe the top of like a hill or something like that peeks out, but really can't see you at all.
Well, no, I'm curious about like the landscape. So
Yeah.
what direction is the hill in?
So looking back, looking back, no problem. So you can see to the south, you guys have really only traveled like, I mean, you can still see the mountain. It's exactly where it was. And even though oftentimes when you travel, it feels like things are never getting closer, you're pretty sure that's not getting further.
Okay. the hill though? What direction?
Oh, sorry, the one that's poking out of the.
Yeah. Oh,
Gotcha.
sorry. Yeah.
That's a little bit to the northwest.
All right. All right. Good job, buddy. Come on back.
Returns.
And then I described to the group what I saw, and I'm like, maybe we make for that hill. I don't know. Hill landmark. I don't know.
Seems like a good idea.
I mean, we could
again.
try. I know that. Yeah, try again, right? Is there a way? Can we use markers or whatever?
Well, we made some markers that we can not follow. The footsteps.
I meant more like marking the trees.
Minka, you get excited. You have.
Yes, Minka?
We have so much chalk.
Okay.
Oh, Minka, you are a genius.
Let's mark the trees as we walk, and maybe that will help us. I mean, I understand that this forest is probably set up to magically just make us go in circles, but it's worth a try, right?
Chop Crew Part 2.
Chop crew part 2.
Have I cast?
Yeah, we'll say you can cast Detect Magic. No problem. You cast Detect Magic, and all around you, it almost blinds you because this mist, almost certainly magical, although very low level, this would be considered an environmental effect. It is magical. It is caused by something very powerful. You've heard of creatures that are powerful enough that they alter the very landscape around you. Actually, at the moment, a little bit north in Gath in the Underdark, there is a creature that has shifted the very landscape around it so that eyes have begun to appear in various things. There are all kinds of things. In fact, you remember being in an underwater temple where there's a perfect circle where you could see the stars, you could see all that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, this is certainly created by something. But you would imagine Dispel Magic probably wouldn't work on it. It would work maybe on a small area.
Right. So she's gonna look at our tracks and the log that Billy pointed out before to see if there's a specific illusory magic on it or if it's just there.
So you look over. Billy, you are over at this log. So what are you looking for?
Billy's looking for the shape of a humanoid or something to indicate that the log is not a log.
Sure.
I think the log might be the dead body.
Make a nature or medicine check, your choice.
Good thinking.
Or survival check.
I'm so good at this game.
My medicine is the same as my survival. I got a 10.
This is the corpse of a tree. And as you get closer to it, you're pretty confident of that. You see wood and everything. Minka, you go over to look for what?
So I just want to see if there's illusory magic cast on this to hide something. Or
So you go over to this tree, and there is no illusion that seems to be over this. Billy is really inspecting it, and so you would imagine from a visible standpoint, Billy has it covered, but from the magical standpoint, nothing is clinging to this in particular.
Okay. Well, good news, bad news. Good news is that this is just a tree. Bad news is that, obviously the mist is very magical, but we're not going to be able to do anything about it from here. It's too widespread. We could do a small area at a time, but not in a meaningful way.
Why don't we try going north again, and let's mark trees as we go, and if we come back to the same spot, we'll know that it's magical fuckery and there's nothing we can do to combat that.
The tracks are real.
The tracks are real, that's true.
Can I get one of those pieces of chalk?
Yes, of course.
Can I have the purple one?
Yes.
You have all the assigned colors as you do. So all of you take chalk. And you're going to head off in which direction now?
I think we're going to try north again.
Okay.
You said the hill is northwest?
Northwest, yes.
Okay. If you want to go for the... Actually, let's do north since our tracks will be there.
And straight north, I feel, is maybe easier to stick with in terms of just environmental clues. That's what Hannah thinks anyway. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, let's go north.
How do you know this direction is north? I don't think I could tell.
Joe told me I did, but...
Yeah, I mean, by looking at the kind of landscape based on what you had seen going in, you're very confident about this. You're not 1,000% sure, but like you can't ever be 1,000% sure of anything. Maybe this is a simulation. Who knows? But you're very confident.
I mean, it is a simulation. Yeah, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. I spent my whole life in forest. I know what I'm doing. Chalk.
Okay. So you all chalk these trees as you move. And as you kind of head on your way north, this chalk, there does seem to be a brief period of time where you do see the chalk begin to emerge off to the side. But as you turn away from that and begin to try to like write your path, it seems like everybody make an insight check. You stop seeing the chalk.
Woo, natural 20. Woo,
Nice.
18?
Okay.
16.
Alina, in Thornholm, there are oftentimes hunts. You and Billy have both been part of many of them. And when there are particularly dangerous creatures, oftentimes you'll work together to kind of herd things to a particular spot where they can be ambushed. When you look at these marks of chalk along the side, at first you're very cognizant of the fact that there is a mindful entity that is making you lost, probably moving the mist or the landscape or you in some way around. But you're also aware that as it goes to the side and you guys wander off and you stop seeing that chalk, they're adjusting to what you're doing. And seeing you mark this forest, they're probably steering you away from the chalk and have probably learned to try to account for that.
Yeah.
And there's something about this that feels like you are doing exactly what you were supposed to be. Everybody go ahead and make a perception check.
What do you mean by
And
supposed to be?
Alina, you can make yours at advantage as part of your natural 20.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Ooh.
What? Sorry.
Can I check this?
Perception.
No, me.
Perception. Yay.
14.
14. Okay.
Dirty.
23.
30, 20.
Dirty 20.
25.
25.
For once I can see.
With a dirty 20, you are aware of the fact that, again, your sense of sound is very, very attuned right now, and you suddenly don't really hear a whole bunch of animals. And Minka, you have detect magic up.
Mm-hmm.
What is the range on that?
30 feet.
30 feet. A lot of magical mist. Billy, you get the sense that something has fundamentally changed. And for just a brief moment, Minka, though you don't get the same kind of sense that Billy does, there is motion in the mist off and to your left, up near the lowest branches of the tree, kind of heading to the north.
What was that?
I don't experience that. I mean,
Something
A
moved.
sense of fairness. Okay.
I didn't see what it was.
How far away was it?
You did not. You got a good look.
Oh.
wait, what? She did see it or she
Did not, and Minka got a good look. Like
Oh, I
you
see.
saw, the mist was still swirling violently, and so whatever you looked at, it was right there.
Divine sense.
You divine sense, and this radiant light just goes away from you, and you sense in this moment, like all the trees and everything, as like the light kind of is blocked, and in the distance around, what is the range on that?
60 feet.
60 feet? There is nothing around you.
Can you have Rez go up real quick?
You heard her. Go for it, buddy.
Oh, okay. Goes up. Flies up and up and up. He pierces this kind of thing, and looking up, you can see that hillside that you had been kind of traveling up off a little bit to your west now, and so you guys have been traveling true north, kind of going up and up and up. He can see, like already looking down, two swirls in the mist that are off on either side of where he just pierced out from. So a little bit north of where you are and to the south now of where you are, there is certainly movement. And looking down, he kind of says, okay, there's definitely something going on. What is Rez's AC? Sorry, does a 23 hit?
Yeah.
And in that moment, there is a brief second where he can perceive this and then you lose contact with Rez.
Man, okay. I saw swirly stuff. I mean, I communicate what I said, swirly stuff. I say what I saw, and then I'm like, there's stuff out there.
I yell.
Okerman's ready.
It hit Rez, and now we don't have Rez anymore.
I
was
yell.
close enough to hit Rez.
Who is out there?
No! God.
Valid. Who is out there? Out there. And you can see Okerman gets ready. The air around him kind of shimmers and grows a little colder. And he's like looking for all of you. You look around, and as this echoes, because it is 8:30 and a great place to take a break, we're going to step away for 10 minutes. But we'll come back, and we will see if there is a response. I got to go walk and get us to our break.
And only Joe knows for sure whether when we return there will be a visual perspective.
There won't be when we return.
No.
But maybe 30 seconds later.
All right, we will be right. Intro. Yeah. Oh, hello. We're back.
Cool! Surprise!
We'll have to see if this actually works, though.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Courts of Everest. Thank you for sticking with us through the break if you did. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're playing D&D. When we left off, you had all become very acutely aware of the fact that you are not alone, primarily through the death of Rez, your familiar who is eliminated from below. You do know that there is swirling mist to the north and south of you, just a little bit away. What are you all doing?
Alina's getting ready for a fight.
Pretty sure I just yelled
Staff
something.
in both
Yeah.
hands. Oh, right, you yelled something.
Oh, right, sorry.
So because of the
Who's
yelling-
there? Who's there?
He said, "Who's there?" And
Yeah.
Billy was like, "Stop."
Yeah. And now Alina's like this.
We don't want anyone.
What is that?
A 5.
In the distance, you hear...
Man, he is the best.
Run or fight?
Fight.
Don't. Just keep walking.
Oh, right. That would be following. I'm learning.
Which ways did the sound come from?
Make a survival check. Here in the misty forest where you're not able to see very far, it's hard to tell. And for you, Valis, it seems especially hard.
Let's see.
Emily says we should pet it.
9.
Good kitty.
It's coming from all around you.
Alright. It sounds like it's coming from all around.
We just need to keep heading in the direction that we think we're heading.
Okay.
I mean,
Lead the way.
We're being manipulated right now, but okay. I'm following. I'm behind you.
I don't think we can avoid.
Alina's saying, I know you're manipulating me, so I'm not being manipulated.
Well, no, I mean, she's more just like, Billy, like, we are going to be fighting something eventually.
I'm not upset about that. I want to find them before they find us.
Minka, going off your previous perception check, as you guys kind of begin to move forward, Okermane, two huge tree ant limbs out, kind of like always looking to the left, to the right. You are the first to notice that there are shapes ahead of you. Aside from just the trees and the shrubbery and the elements of rock, which are becoming a little bit more prominent here, you do notice humanoid shapes. And pretty quickly it becomes apparent that they're not people. Like piled stones.
There's something in the mists.
And with your 25, they're arranged in a pretty perfect circle.
A ritual circle, maybe?
Would a visual perspective be helpful?
Yeah.
There it is. And Mark.
To be fair, there's several ways that this could have gone.
Yeah, but then Vincent had to go and yell.
No,
Sorry,
I love that.
Valis had to go and yell. Vincent's just playing Valis.
In my head, Valis did think about that.
Yeah,
They know we're here,
Yeah, no. I don't disagree with you. Like, Hannah doesn't disagree with you.
and it might not be something bad. Probably is, but it might not be. But
We don't get visual
the big
perspective just for best friends, so.
We reserve it solely for best friends. We just hope to meet these best friends at a party with everyone in attendance.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm usually
I've always
completely
learned-
out of the way.
I've always learned when we get these forest scapes that the first thing I look for
We need to go about here, if we can.
is to look for little animals, because often there's little animals hidden
Interestingly
right
enough,
there.
as you can
There's
tell
a stoat.
probably from looking,
Stoat.
there's only like one or two.
Or weasels.
You don't see any large creatures like you have seen quite often in other places.
From the back, it looks like a
I'm guessing we're coming from this area.
field dome.
From the front, it's very fox-like.
You are heading, so you guys are right next to the tree. Yeah, right there. And so, Minka, you are just able to kind of see the two stone figures, the one really tall one and the one really short one. And here and there, when the mist kind of moves, because there's a gentle wind, you can see some of the further ones too, which shows you that full shape of the circle. And though you can see this map on your screen, you can see it in much greater detail at Albron RPG, Instagram, social media, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so we're over there, you said.
There's some sort of circle with rocks, and the rocks are like people?
Of course there is.
Do we investigate it or go in a different direction?
Well,
Different direction. Didn't see that coming, did you? Sorry.
Do you,
Is it the...
That's
you think I haven't seen that coming?
No.
I've had several weeks to prepare.
Alina says to Billy, did we find them? Do you think we found them?
I mean, there's no... They're like cairns.
Minka's gonna like get a little bit closer.
Okay.
Okay, no,
So
they're made of
Minka?
rocks, but be careful.
Are you doing so at like a normal pace?
She's gonna move slowly forward,
Like,
cautiously, like she's sneaking. Yes.
okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Billy wants to go with her, but Billy's noisy.
Well, I'd like to creep forward as well. And is this a forest on the material plane?
Make a stealth check, and it
That's-
sure is.
Not a d20. That one's a 20. Nope.
No. 3 and a 2.
Ooh, that
Oh,
advantage.
That's a natural one
Are we
for
all
me,
sneaking
baby.
No, nobody's sneaking
If-
forward,
if you
Valis.
say you are, then you
You
are.
can hear everybody. They're just crunching through, walking, no problem.
I probably
got a
tripped on a
5.
stick and then hit my knee and went, ow!
Sure.
If I didn't have to roll at disadvantage, I would have gotten a dirty 20, but I got a 7.
Okay.
I
So
guess I
you
will also.
clang and thump your way through the woods. At this point, actually, for Okerman. So he rolled 14 on the dice, which brings him down to 12. Still better than all of you. This huge tree turns and goes.
He sounds like he belongs here.
At one point, he stops. This huge branch holds up, and he turns and looks at all of you and goes, "I'm confused. Are we sneaking or not?
We're trying.
You look like you're trying, but you're doing a poor job."
Oh, are we sneaking?
Oh, do we know that we're doing badly?
Valis is just like walking. You were all
Walking
trying
normally.
to sneak, and like I mean, it's pretty apparent that you're not doing well. You're
I hit
all
my knee
very
really
aware of
hard.
each other.
It seems as though we have decided to investigate this circle. Just want to make sure we're on the same page.
We are
Let's just
not-
walk forward.
We are not on the same page, but
What if we just walk in this direction instead, away from this?
I don't disagree, but also I feel like at this point, if we walk in a different direction, it's just going to be in front of us.
I agree with that.
It's so.
Minka / Alana is trying to remember. There is a term for a like humanoid pile of rocks.
Are you looking for like a general term, or like a very specific term?
There's like a specific term for like making a human effigy.
A cairn.
Yeah.
Effigy?
No.
I thought a cairn was just like a pile of
A cairn is just a pile of rocks denoting.
Oh, an effigy. Yeah.
So.
Totem?
We get you though.
Yeah,
we get
it's
you.
my brain is like it's like clawing at the word and then I can't quite grasp it. It's like when you're trying to reach something on the back of a cabinet and you're like, get to your
It's
bowl.
not just like a decorative feature. Oh, of course it isn't.
The battle music has arrived.
Billy kind of lockstep and said, "We either go in together or we don't, but it's together."
Let's get a better look.
Minka's gonna cast Destroy Water in a 30-foot cube.
Okay. Where?
She's gonna try to center it in the middle of the circle.
Okay.
I know this game.
Roll a d100.
Okay. That's always exciting. Hey, I do something. Roll a d100.
As you're like doing this, Minka. Actually, no, I'm not gonna.
How's a 91 sound?
Okay. Pretty good.
We don't know what that means. Calm down.
You cast Destroy Water in a 30-foot radius, and instantly there is a clear space. And you can see these stones, and they're easy to see because as you cast magic in them, there are little runes that begin to glow in this bright green light. And you can see on the furthest stone and the one that is closest to you on the board, there are glowing runes that now shift and move in Sylvan across them. And to you, make an Arcana check. And at that, Okerman, you could see he was like about to hold out a hand to stop you. And he says, magic inside of an unaligned Fey circle is dangerous. I hope you know what you're doing.
I definitely don't. I rolled a 1. I am rolling lots of really great checks today, guys.
These
Is this the day we
glows
died?
bright.
We were sure it was happening in the volcano, but
Listen, there's a lot of things that Minka is. A trained wizard is 100% not
I
one
know
of
we,
them.
we love her anyway, though.
What are y'all doing?
A trained wizard, Ori.
Despite his great attempts.
Got him.
Well,
We don't go near it.
so it's
All right,
a Fey
let's-
circle. That's something.
Let's go that way. Agreed.
Hey, Okermane, do you know why there's the people figures?
They're part of this. It's a ritual. And one who creates things like this can use it for multiple purposes, which is why you should be cautious of magic cast in it. It appears you haven't done too much damage. Some of these stones are not in the right place, and so you haven't opened a portal yet. But this one, and he kind of gets closer. Where are you standing?
I'm like right here.
Okay. So then he's going to pass you and kind of lean over to the one that's glowing, that really tall one. And he's going to look at this and he's going to say, this could lead us to the Feywild, but it could also be open to the Shadowfell. You must be cautious.
Okay.
He looks and then says, and there is something beyond those rocks.
Oh. Like a creature? Or another portal?
I know not, Blue One, but we should be cautious.
Okay.
I can go check. I can fly.
No.
Okay.
No, we should stick together.
Okay. Okay. She's trying to help.
We
Uh,
were
Billy kind of gestures everyone forward.
Okay.
forward. This way forward.
to follow our tree friend.
Yes, follow
okay.
the tree friend.
Follow tree friend.
So if you're going to follow him and he realizes he's in the front, he's just going to turn and go, well, I'm not going to fit through there. And he turns and walks the other direction around because that's a little tight for him. He was just looking at that stone. So he begins to walk. Yeah, no problem. He begins to walk off in that direction.
Oh,
As
we're
we
like a row
pass
of ducks.
by the people looking rock piles, without getting like closer or touching them or anything, can I take a good hard look to see if I can figure out whether they are just piles of rocks or whether they are like used to be people and now they're stone?
Make an Arcana or Survival check, your choice. Or even medicine would perhaps work here.
I'll do Arcana.
Sure.
I'm picking a different D20. Or dice jail. Natural 20! Woo!
These are almost certainly stones, and like looking beyond, you see this huge kind of pile of rock, and it's almost the same stone, and so it's probably sourced from very nearby. That being said, absolutely, these are like perfectly stacked in such a way that like they could easily be pushed over, and so somebody put a lot of effort to make these the way that they are. And you can see even in the stones that don't glow, there are little glyphs and runes that are carved in but not actively glowing in this moment. And so these were never people. They're certainly magical, and there's certainly something going on here.
Okay. You said the runes were in Sylvan, right?
Yeah, and I would say with the natural 20, this circle was last used to open a portal to the Feywild. You can see that in the Sylvan that kind of glows. But in some of these darker ruins, you see shapes that remind you of a ship that you've been on recently. Billy had slammed a door shut because there was this cold sensation going from the hold, and there is a similar kind of feel from those ruins. But they're not people. This seems to be a Fey circle, and so I would say, Alina, being from Thornholm, you know that these can open to very particular parts of the Feywild, and when they do, generally speaking, they have been created by Archfey for some purpose, and oftentimes there is very good stuff around there. It's usually tempting for a reason, but those who are able to overcome whatever challenge or obstacle is there usually are rewarded quite handsomely. Other Archfey create portals that go to significantly more dangerous places.
So fun.
Yeah,
So fun.
Okerman makes his way around, giving it a good 10-foot berth.
Alina's gonna sidle up next to Billy and be like, Billy, those runes, they look like the ones from the ship.
Of course they do.
I'm just warning you.
Don't.
Because there's no door there that you can slam shut.
Okerman moves another 15 feet and kind of peers around those rocks.
How?
Alice.
Yeah.
Can you light up anybody's weapon like you did before in the Shadowfell?
I did not bring that spell.
I can do a small version.
It did better when Valis did it.
I know. It's just mine would just be light.
Okerman shifts back around. There's nothing there. We're safe. And things slow down for a moment because as he turns, you see the eyes, kind of the wood creak and widen a little bit as he seems to be looking at something coming from off into the west. But could I have everybody roll for initiative? As you can hear, there is a sound whistling through the mist at this moment.
We are safe. Roll for initiative.
Ooh, I rolled too high. I'm not supposed to be this high in the
You
initiative.
want to change?
Yeah, can we do an agreed swap on initiatives?
Can't. And there is actually mechanics that prevent that because that would be taking a gimmick from somebody else. But anybody natural 20? Okay. Anybody 25 to 20?
Dirty 20.
Okay. Minka at dirty 20.
I'm not supposed to be
20 to 15.
Sorry, boo.
Oh no.
Oh, love that. 15 to 10.
10.
Okay. 10 for Alina, 10 for Valis, 12 for Billy.
You probably.
You sounded a lot like Alana for a second, and that confused me. So the way that this works out, Minka is starting us off, followed by everybody else on the board, followed by Billy, followed by Alina, followed by Valis. Love that. So, Minka, time slows down, and you kind of quick glance, you had a 25 on your previous perception check, and so you see behind you, a good distance away at this moment, the likely source of that sound.
Is it a frog?
Huge, kind of green. You see an elongated face, these huge teeth. There's a tongue that drips out, and as it locks eyes with you, the eyes become pinpoints, and again it and begins to forward. That seems to be what Okerman was reacting to. What would you like to do?
Minka's just gonna point directly at it and go, creature! And then cast guiding bolt.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Hey guys, there's a thing.
Oh, it's right
In my notes, I have named him Big Froggy Guy.
All right, I definitely missed. That is 12.
12. 12 is absolutely a miss. You throw this guiding bolt, and this huge, ball of light fires through the steam and the mist and everything, and it almost creates this, huge aura around it, which does seem to create, a shine effect from this creature, but it darts to one side and is surprisingly quick and continues forward. Anything else, Minka?
Yes. So, it's my first level, so dope. I'm going to channel, and then I'm going to freeze and be like, I do not know what we need yet.
Okay.
So instead, she's going to see if she can find any rocks or magic stones
Okay.
to cast magic stone upon
Make a
them.
perception check. You look down and you do see a pile of rocks very nearby.
That one's over there, but that's fine. I can see it. That's a good one. So we're so that. I am so sorry. My brain is not here.
It's a good one.
Same.
22.
22. With the 22, you look around, and there are all kinds of stones. The biggest ones have been piled up, but there are tons of little ones that you can grab. So, handful, no problem.
Okay.
You can grab between 3 and 5.
Okay, so I think I could do up to 3 at a time with magic stone. So I'll just scoop 3 and just hold them.
Okay. You're holding rocks. That's your turn,
Rocks.
Minka. That brings us to everybody else.
Classic Minka.
So,
What
first,
a turn.
as Minka yells out, "Creature!" you feel this perceptible shift in the mist. Minka, does a 12 hit?
No.
Okay. Does a 13 hit?
No.
Minka, at your feet, boom, boom, 2 arrows just stick into the ground, vibrating in the mud, and then they go still, and the mist behind swirls and swirls, and you get a vague idea that they're coming from a little bit further to the north and off to either side, but up, elevated are these sources. That is them. That brings us to this other guy. So he, excuse me. Okay, so it gets to here, and then it's going to have to dash. And just running at Minka is actually going to collide almost with you, Alina. And like scampering in the mud. You can see he pulls back and like ready to slash with both claws, ready to bite as well. You get the sense that this is certainly a melee-based creature, but that is all that it can do on this turn. That does bring us to Billy.
Too close.
Yes, very close. Ooh, it is a feat to do the little switcheroo, isn't it?
Correct.
All right.
The do-si-do feat,
The toast.
as it is known.
Proceed.
We're all standing like in a clump, right?
Yes, very much so. Classic.
Billy is going to attempt to run around behind him, but being careful not to go through the
Circle.
So around that way.
5, that's
Just
25.
To clarify, did he go through the circle or did he go around?
He went right through,
Okay,
no
that's what I
problem.
thought. Yeah,
I really don't trust it.
but he was rogue.
He is.
25
And so
total,
he
so right
rushes forwards, and as he does, Billy, you go off to the left, kind of skirting the group. He swipes at you, and you slide underneath and kind of end up behind him. What are you doing there?
Billy is going to cast Green Flame Blade and
Make your attack roll.
You're flanking.
I am flanking.
Am I threatening?
You're just holding a bunch of rocks.
Yeah, but you're there. You're
The rocks are
distracting
flanking.
us.
You're right, those rocks are more threatening than me.
An 18 hits.
Yay!
As you slide behind it, misses you with that lunge, and it opens up a perfect opportunity along its side.
Oh, I wasn't prepared. I'm so used to being Echo.
Never hit him.
And then where is the spell thing?
There's a really good joke out there about echolocation. I can't quite use it.
Echo has echolocation.
Yeah. Echolocative ears is an item that Echo has.
And she's going to burn Bardic for defensive flourish.
Okay. So, what was the damage?
Working on it.
Okay, cool.
I have to find out the correct dice.
No problem.
There we go.
So
Okay.
sliding behind you, slash across with the green flame blade, and on the other side of him, that really is your defensive flourish. I mean, you just slid underneath this creature, basically.
Very cool.
So that's a 2 to my AC and 6. 4. So yeah, that's because that's Eldritch Blast. That's not the correct. Okay. Apologies.
Do we need math again?
Yes. So 2 points to my AC and slashing damage. 4 points plus 4 points of so 4 points of fire damage. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
And to him, and 7 points of fire damage to anyone around him.
Okay, so that would be anyone in what radius?
Like any enemy of
Gotcha. So
that I would sense around him.
you see a tiny little fly
Cool.
down, but no other enemies around.
And 9 points of slashing damage.
Okay, so for what it's worth, doesn't seem to do the full amount of damage. The slashing damage, or sorry,
It's magical slashing.
the slashing
Piercing.
damage is slashing's fine. Slashing's fine. You're fine.
Piercing fine, sorry. Apologies.
Okay,
It's
no worries.
piercing.
Okay, so you slash across. Did you deal fire damage?
I did
And
also
that was
deal
4
fire-
points of fire damage,
4
correct?
4 points of
That seems to only deal 2 points of damage.
Okay.
That is where we're going. Okay. Anything else, Billy?
That's all for Billy.
Billy, you slash across. The fire leaps across this creature's hide, but seems to almost just vanish on it. That is Billy's turn. That brings us to Alina. Valis, you're on deck.
Alrighty. All right. As bonus action, I fly
Okay, so you pronk into the air.
to pring, and I'm going to fly up this way.
Okay.
I understand that's probably eating an attack of opportunity.
Yep,
That is
for
fine.
sure.
I'm gonna come like up here, which we'll say like about 20 feet
Okay.
up. And then I want to see whether this positioning enables me to see where the arrows came from. Because you said they came from this direction.
Correct. No problem. So make a perception check.
With our powers combined.
Is that my action? I was hoping just to look.
I mean, if you look, you're not going to see anything. I can
No,
tell you that right
I'll
now.
make a perception check.
For what it's worth, as you fly up, does a 23 hit?
Yeah.
Okay. So first, Alina, as you go up, this clawed hand slashes across, and it digs deep. And as it does, first of all, you are going to be taking 13 points of slashing damage.
I like
Can you
to
make
intercept that.
Ooh, okay. Go ahead and make your
Reduces
perception.
it by 7.
Okay. So slashes across, and Valis, in this moment, you kind of like rush back and slam your shield, and though it almost throws you off balance, you are able to deflect it just enough so that it doesn't quite hit flush. But Alina, what was your Constitution saving throw?
I didn't realize I
sorry.
had to make one.
Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
All right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 17.
17.
Plus 3.
Do I now? Dirty 20.
The creature scrapes across your flesh, and where it opens up instantly, the edges of skin just blacken and die. And there is certainly some kind of infection, or this is beyond a disease. This is something bad. And you can feel, even as you move across and you like scrape that skin away, where it hits the ground, the grass dies. There is something very bad in this claw. But you fly up, and what was your perception check?
10.
10. You look around, and you can tell for sure there is at least one source that seems to be roughly in the location of the tree right behind your laptop. Yeah, right there.
All right, well, I'm just gonna look that way.
Okay.
I'll come a little further, just to kind of get out of.
Both your gaze and physical person get a little closer.
They do.
That is your turn, Alina.
Yeah.
Valis,
Free
you're-
action mental note to both thank Valis and ask him to heal whatever this is.
Yeah, for sure. It still festers ever so slightly. And Valis, on your turn, as you slam the shield off and your arm vibrates with this ring. This creature, not much weaker than the giants that you fought. What are you doing?
Let's see. Well, as Lena flies off, I remember not to go too far away.
I'm gonna do thank you.
I'm gonna move in here. And I will attack this thing twice with my sword. Do I have advantage from flanking?
Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely. Here,
21 to hit.
21 hits.
Just trying to suss out the arrow shooter.
10
Busy back
slashing.
there.
10 slashing. Okay.
Yeah. Then second attack,
Oh, Jesus. Say that
25 to hit.
25 hits.
And 10 slashing again.
10 slashing again. Alrighty.
And do I know what this thing is? What kind of check would it be to know?
That would be an action to make a nature or arcana check, your choice.
Okay, no, I'm just gonna use my action to slap it with my sword.
There you go. So you slash into this creature, and again, you're able to carve into it. The first strike, you use that like momentum from your shield to almost pin it into the ground and then pull your whole body into the swing. And as you hit it, I mean, you're certainly doing damage, but Valis, you can see already where it cuts open and you can see flesh. Already it begins to like close and heal. This has some regenerative properties to it.
Man.
Anything else, Valis?
I'll say to the group, oh, this thing's healing itself.
Top of
And
the
I'll
round.
end my turn.
That brings us to Minka. Minka, you say creature, and then you hear healing itself. What would you like to do?
It's since it's right there. Mika's gonna reach out and do a shocking grasp,
Okay, make your attack roll.
and hopefully it doesn't get poisoned by making physical contact.
We'll find out, I guess.
Does that
I need
benefit from flanking?
gloves.
Yes, it does. It's a melee attack.
Whoa.
This one's not
I like the idea of Minka making special gloves, and then the first time you use it, you just electrocute yourself.
Very much. That is a 23.
23 hits. What kind of save is that?
It is not. It is just 2d8 lightning damage.
Very nice.
So I am going to deal some lightning damage if I can recognize shapes well enough to find my other one. There we go. Not very good, but 6 lightning damage.
You deal a grand total of 3 lightning damages. It doesn't seem to be quite as effective as you want. You reach forward and grab it, and there's this jolt of electricity, but it turns and looks at you and just goes, slash, and it gets bigger, and you can see from inside the mouth there is a dim glow. But anything else, Minka?
Backing up.
There you go.
Backing up behind that tree.
It's like the frog version of Woodchuck Guy.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that it's aiming something at me. So yeah, and there's also people, and then, so that was my action. I'm moved, and then my bonus action will be to wait to decide if I'm going to, what I'm going to do for glowing. Okay. So, can I bonus action toss the stones on the ground nearby?
Yeah, if you want.
So, yeah, so as I move, as my bonus action, I'm just gonna place the magic stones on the ground and be like, stones, stones, stones! And
Minka just stacks bonus actions that will become one action. Yeah, great. So you begin to just kind of cast stones around, no problem. You rush behind. This creature can't quite keep up with you as he's already used his reaction. He can't make an attack, but you just rush away.
so those stones remain imbued until I cast it again.
Okay.
So, that's it.
There you go. That is your turn, Minka. That brings us to the rest of these creatures. So, Alina, you begin to drift a little bit forward, and already as you do, you sense movement. Does a 21 hit?
Yeah.
And does a 19 hit?
Yeah.
Okay, so this first arrow that strikes you from the mist, surprisingly, comes from almost due west. And that is going to deal a grand total of 12 points of piercing damage. The other one comes from due north, and this one deals another 12 points of piercing damage. Both of these arrows just kind of poof, poof into you, and you can see these vibrant, bright green feathers stick out from the fletching. The wood is very peculiar. It has almost these streaks of color that run through it, but that is them. That brings us to this other guy. So you can see the eyes certainly follow Minka, and actually, it's going to take its first attack against you, Valis, with a claw attack. That is going to be a 26 to hit.
That will hit.
And claws. Okay. Can you go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw, please? You are only taking 9 points of slashing damage.
Let's see. 9 damage, and I did not roll very well.
Ooh.
So that's not good for me. You said Constitution?
Yes, I did.
This doesn't seem right.
Saving throw.
Oh, thank you. That's why. 7.
Oh, good. Okay, way better. With a 7. I'm not going to ask if I could do anything to help.
I'd like to ask first, is this a disease?
It is.
Okay, because I am immune to diseases. Paladin.
So in this brief moment, this creature slashes across, and as it digs
Divine
deep
hell.
into you, you feel your skin begin to crackle and like pulse away, and you hear from the prayer beads themselves, Javaris just begin to go, "Oh, that's not good. I've seen this before, Valis," and begins to like talk off in like the distance. But you like dig away, and immediately the skin dies away and doesn't take effect against you. For what it's worth, Valis, whatever this disease is, virulent. I mean, it is. You feel it almost surge and overwhelm your immunity, but not quite able to do so. That is its first attack, and now using that to push you out of the way, it's going to rush towards Minka.
Am I being moved, or is it just...
No, it's just,
okay.
so it does provoke attacks of opportunity from Billy and Valis.
3, 5, 6.
And 5 feet closer. He's got 35 feet of movement.
7.
Like, yeah, try, yeah, perfect.
That. Okay.
24 from Billy to hit.
24 absolutely hits.
Let's see.
Too close. I do not like this.
It's so rude.
It better not eat me, I swear to God.
Oh. Oh, what a horrible way to go.
13 points of magical piercing.
All right. That seems to do the full amount of damage.
18.
18 hits.
Nice. I'll smite.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead and roll your damage on that.
Smiting.
So he shoves you out of the way. Billy swirls and brings the rapier like ablaze with this green fire, still slashing across the back, and you from the front like slam the sword in. And as it does, it alights. How much damage is that?
It's 10 slashing from the blade itself. And
Okay.
is this thing a... Let's see, before I roll, is it a fiend or undead?
It is not.
Okay. Well, there goes that
Football.
13 radiant.
13 radiant. And that seems to do the full amount of damage as well.
Nice. Does it do anything to prevent the self-healing it seems to be doing?
You slash across, and though it hasn't quite been able to do that yet, it seems as if it does not. No. Anything else, Valis?
That'll be it.
Okay, so that was your smite. It gets over you now, Minka, and looming over top, it will take its remaining 2 attacks. The first is a claw attack. That is going to be a 19 to hit.
That hits.
Minka, can you make a Constitution saving throw
Sure
as
can.
you take 9 points of slashing damage?
Okay, hang on, let me just write down this number. And then Constitution. Terrible. I'll find out what this disease is. That's a total of 10. I'm assuming because Valis, I don't get the +3 from Valis. Am I too far from you?
You are too far from me.
Yep.
It digs with these talons into you, raking across your shoulder, almost dragging you to the ground. And instantly, as it does, you feel something enter into your bloodstream. With every pulse of your heart, it goes deeper and deeper into your body. You get the sense, Minka, as you like surge back to your feet, already kind of like feeling for the chalice form. Whatever healing that you would be providing almost certainly won't heal you. And you get the sense that almost nothing will heal you while you're sick. And you get the sense that that's just the tip of the iceberg here. And then it bites you. And that is going to be 16 to hit.
That misses.
Okay. And so you like almost stumble back as this like pulses through your body, but that is all that it can do. That does bring us...
Has it been a full round?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you missed Oak Remain.
Oh, I did. Yeah. Sorry. Great catch. So actually... So that puts him... Actually, no. So that's perfect. That's fine.
Too far.
So, zooming back just for a second. Okerman at the start of the battle, as he is surprised, you see he reaches out and slams the branches, and it's like there is this magic that leaps across him as he casts mage armor on himself for the first round, and he is going to go right after the bad guys at 17 initiative, so totally okay. He's going to go in just a second.
Does he get an attack of opportunity when the...
He would, but he's not going to take it because he's holding it for something. He doesn't know what else is out here. For you, that is the end of... Sorry, so it bit you. Did it hit?
It did not.
It did not. Cool. So it snaps. You almost stumbling away from it. That is its turn, and that does bring us to Okerman. So Okerman...
We got a wheel, by the way.
Excellent.
Olive. So now we've got 2.
Actually... Yeah, he's going to storm over here, stepping over you, Valis, and just closing the gap. Actually, he's going to stay just a little bit back. And stomping over, you can hear, he will say, "Don't worry, Blue One, I'll save you." And he reaches forwards, and instantly, right next to you, you see a single snowflake just appear, and then the entire area in a 10-foot circle, and this unfortunately does hit you, grows ice cold. And can you go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw, please?
Scary. I am probably gonna be prone. Oh, that is a grand total of
Get the sense that
13.
they sent
Am I
it along
prone?
with us.
No.
In the
You
hopes
take
that-
7 points of cold damage, as does this creature, which doesn't seem to do the full amount. However, as it is like there, and it is like this temperature drops, all of the mist freezes and hardens around it, and you get the sense that it's a little bit slower because you're about 10 feet slower next round. But that is his turn. That brings us to Billy. Alina, you're on deck.
Billy's going to run forward to... Ballas is on deck.
No, it's me.
Oh,
We had the same initiative, but my dex was high.
Billy's gonna run forward to the thingy.
What's your movement?
Oh, you hit 6.
This is 6 right here, I think.
Cool, fun.
Because he has 35
awesome.
feet of movement, yeah.
Yeah. Shit. Hold, please.
Okay.
Hex.
Okay.
Bonus action Hex and Eldritch Blast.
You see it get just outside of your range, so instead of bringing this blade forward, you just throw Hex, and as these shadows congeal around it, it clumps into it. If somebody wants to Hex that guy, go ahead and make your attack rolls.
The lowest roll is an 18.
That hits.
So
I don't think you guys have missed this guy. This is like the opposite of last night.
this is so much better than I ruined it. So that is 14 and 12 points of force damage, and then 1 for the hex. Blast, but you win some, you lose some. 3 points of psychic damage.
3 points of psychic
No.
damage.
I don't have my cards in front of me.
That's okay. Take a second and look. I have the rest, but tell me how much psychic damage when you get it.
I just don't remember if it's psychic or not. It's 3.
Okay.
Hex is psychic or no?
I think it's
I think it's
necrotic.
It's necrotic.
Necrotic.
Yeah.
Deals the full amount of damage. And so already with that blow, that deals a pretty good amount of damage to this creature. You see it dig in and he almost stumbles forwards, and Minka, as he was like about to bite down, you stumble back, but also the blow makes him miss as he bites down, and he like looks back, this green glow coming from his mouth as he hisses towards you, Billy. Anything else?
That's it. That's all Billy can do.
Alrighty, that is Billy's turn. That brings us to Alina. Valis, you're on deck.
Alright, so did Alina, when the arrows came out of the mist, get any kind of more sense of what's over here than she had before?
No, almost worse, because they seem to be in entirely different directions than they were the first time.
Okay. Alina's gonna abandon that for now and go back and help Minka. So she's gonna slide this way. 1, 2.
Fine.
And right about now, you're seeing like the blue glow of Minka's skin in the mist.
Minka. Can I see him?
Yep.
All right. I'm also gonna hex him in Eldritch Blast. You stole my move.
So he turns around, hisses at Billy, and then the shadows hit him from a different direction. They grow even darker, kind of pulling him down a little bit.
All right.
Strength checks.
Okay.
Ooh.
And I'll pick wisdom.
And I'll be the heart.
All right, 2 Eldritch Blasts. One of them is a natural 20,
That hits.
and the other one is a 16.
Damn. Yeah, both of those hit.
All right, dope. So I'll roll for the natural 20 first.
Sure. Whatever you want to do.
Math can. Okay. So we've got. And then. Yeah, double the hex damage too, right? So that's 26, 31. Oh lord. Okay. No. Okay. Breaking it down by damage type. 25 points of force damage.
Full amount of damage.
6 points of necrotic.
Hang on 1 second. 6 points of necrotic, full amount of damage.
And 3 bludgeoning. And I think we have decided before that it is like magical bludgeoning.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Alina. as you like turn, you abandon this idea. You can't see these arrows, so you turn and you see just barely in this moment, as like the mist is still folding in from where Minka destroyed and has caused this like huge amount of movement. You can see this creature slash across Minka and then almost bite down, and you rush over, and behind you, before you can even realize it, you are building this force in your hands. And though you don't realize this, the elements of foliage that form this garment around you begin to turn yellow and red and flow off. Though you don't lose any elements, it leaves a trail of these autumn leaves behind you, and you throw a huge eldritch blast that goes forwards, and as it does, it ignites from the inside this creature, and it explodes across Minka. And Minka, this creature very much dead, as it goes again, right in front of you all over, and a fist-sized emerald strikes you in the chest and hits the ground, steaming. Anything else, Alina?
Willie had a sentence that does the second Eldritch Blast just like slam into the dirt.
Right in the dirt, yeah. I mean, if there's nothing really, I mean, you could hit Valis.
Oh no! Well, because I already
attack the darkness.
Well, I actually, if you'll allow it,
Okay.
I would love to just turn back to face where I think whatever shooting the arrows are.
Sure.
It does. The definition of Eldritch Blast doesn't say a creature you can see.
Yeah,
just
no,
a
absolutely.
creature. I'd like to shoot it at where I think the creature is.
Okay, so as part of that natural 20, instead of a 16, make an attack at disadvantage.
Instead of the 16.
Yes.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Woo!
Alina's in her element. It's a forest. Fine hags.
Oh
her
man,
bestie.
Alina is having the time of her life. That's gonna be 13 points of force damage.
So you turn, and as you turn this Eldritch Blast, it goes through this creature. The other one curves around, and none of you have ever seen this before, but one of these bolts just curves and goes all the way around the stones and just like an asteroid out into the sky, and you hear this and as something falls from the trees, and it certainly hits. Anything else, Alina?
I point and I go, there! Guy there! On ground, guy there. Hey everybody, guy down there.
You see a heron
Oh,
still grasping a longbow, but now prone as they fall from the trees, and they were mid-step, almost running across the treetops, and you hit them on the fly. They are now like face first on the ground. That is your turn, Alina?
yeah.
Fantastic. Valis, what would you like to do? Minka, you're on deck.
Do I see that herring gun? That fall?
No, not at this distance.
But I am
Alina's the only
pointing
one.
and I'm saying there.
Yeah,
Guy there.
there's a guy there.
Guy there.
You can
Guy on
be,
guy on ground.
That thing's dead.
yeah, that thing's dead.
Yeah.
Their castle.
Actually, I should ask, does Valis know that Minka is, diseased?
So you look over, and Minka currently, there is a visible slash in the gauzy fabric of Minka's garments, and her blood a different color than the guts of this creature that are all over her. So she's certainly taken damage. At this point, hard to tell. You can't assess whether there's like an infection unless you want to make a medicine check as an action. Or you could just assume that she's infected.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move this guy. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk up to Minka,
Okay.
because it looks like the thing is...
It's happening.
Dead?
This is happening.
What's this?
Don't. Like,
fine.
don't.
It's
Fine.
Don't. No,
Alright.
Valis does not pay attention to this.
Like,
Well, I
this is Alana's doing this because like
I was gonna, like, prepare... I'll ready an action, and I'm gonna ask you, did it feel like it diseased you? And I'd ready an action. My action is, if Minka says yes, I will cast Lay on Hands, 5 hit points to remove disease.
Cool.
Do you feel that your personal condition is disease?
And Minka,
Yeah.
you definitely do. I mean, absolutely, 1,000%.
All right, and then that's gonna be my turn.
Okay.
Because I don't see anything else.
So you go ahead at the start of this round. Minka, you hear Valis.
I didn't see it.
You see Valis
pointing.
just go, like, say all these things, holding the hand. There's a glow around it. What do you say?
Yeah?
High five!
And as it does, you, in the back of your mind, hear. and it's gone. Whatever this disease was, cured. For now.
Wait, what?
Minka, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
An emerald slapped me in the chest.
Yes, it's at your feet at the moment. Glowing, about fist-sized.
I'm gonna pick up that emerald.
You pick up this emerald cut perfectly in like a diamond shape. It's large and glowing, and you can almost certainly tell that this is magic.
Pocket.
You can add 1 control gem to your inventory.
Okay. And then I'm gonna play pocket that. Yeah, pocket that. It's just like pocket at someone's head. Thank you. And then Minka's gonna like look like around
Okay.
and see. She heard Alina yell something.
Yeah, but you don't even, you barely see Alina at this point.
Yeah.
Anything beyond Alina is just mist.
So I don't see anything, but I knew there were arrows.
Yes.
So at this point, I'm gonna channel the archer. I'm gonna commit.
Okay.
I'm committing to the archer, and then I will hold. You can hold bonus actions, can you? No.
No.
So then I'll just be an archer.
You are now an archer as the lights become stars behind you and ignite. And Alina, as you turn and you warn people of this creature, you see now this brilliant glow and these very distinct shadows cast in this stark silhouette. Everybody in around Minka, very visible. Anything else?
I'm just gonna move forward, so I am not directly shining a spotlight onto Valis. Yeah, that's great. That's
So
great.
Valis is cast in the shadow of the tree. And that is your turn, Minka.
Yep.
That brings us to
keep an
the
eye out.
bad guys. So that Herongon, who is down there, is going to peel himself to his feet. And he is going to scamper up this tree.
Oh, what a little scamp.
About
Look at him
20
go.
feet into the
He's-
branches. And Alina, you can barely see him as he looks at you. Make for free a perception check.
It's gonna be a 15.
A 15. For just a moment, you hold eye contact with him. And at this distance, you can't make out any details. And then the eyes vanish back as he just disappears into the mist.
We have 2 wheels hanging out in our chat log. One from Matt
Oh, we
earlier
have a bicycle.
Olive.
and Olive.
So you have 1 wheel. There is a wheel already used.
Oh,
Unit.
sad.
I was wondering. I was sure it must have been used
Yes.
somehow, but
There is so you do have 1 wheel that is on deck. In this moment, are you looking for the wheel to do something in particular?
I'm just reminding everyone that there's a wheel. There's
Alina, in this moment,
There's a
you
wheel, there's a way.
get the sense that they have run off.
they've run off.
And there's a tense second that goes by and then another. And all of you are out of initiative. I'm going to go ahead and change the music.
Alina's gonna come back down to the ground and just be like, "Oh, it was a Herongon. I've seen Herongon before, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like a Herongon, and he had a bow and arrow, and I hit him, but he ran off. I think. Sneaky little bastard.
What was that thing you picked up that came out of?
This kind of exploded out of the creature. It's
And so from the pocket, still dripping elements of this green ooze, this emerald glowing, actually.
I don't know exactly what it is, but it's related to the. It was inside the creature.
What kind of check is it to identify this item?
An Arcana check.
I would like to make an Arcana check.
As discreetly as she can while you're doing that.
I would say you could also make a medicine check if you want.
Alina's gonna sidle up to Billy, like, really, like, not discreetly because she's crying, and she's gonna be like, "Do you know what that is?" That's
Nat
all.
20.
Just asking. Woo!
Woo!
I don't think Billy knows what this is.
Alina
Make
at this point
a
never knows
nature
whether
check
something
or
is hag related or not.
History check and make it at disadvantage. Valis, with a natural 20, you look down at this, and almost unbidden from somewhere in the recesses of your mind, an element of a thought that was maybe wiped away, but not completely, you feel that this is a control gem, and these are used to control creatures called Slades. This is not like a Slade that you are familiar with. In fact, as you say that word and kind of chew on it a little bit, you're not sure what that is, but that's certainly one. And these can be created by an arcane caster of some kind to control these creatures.
Slade, not slave?
Slade.
Slade.
S-L-A-A-D.
Does that lead me to think that the creature we just fought is a Slade?
It would stand to reason.
Okay. Just making sure I was following. I say all that.
With the natural 20, you get the sense that when a Slade is in possession of one of these things, they can't be charmed. This kind of tracks them to whoever that caster is. There are certain spells that could be cast to acquire this gem and keep the Slade alive, and thus passing the control to you. This would be something like, with a natural 20, you've heard of a spell called imprisonment. That is something that can certainly work. You've heard, and this is something that you've never seen, but you've heard that there is a spell so powerful that it can bring you whatever you wish. And that spell could also probably do this. You know that a greater restoration spell could probably destroy this gem without harming the creature itself. Nobody can be in control of it at that point. And then the very final thing that I would say is if you incapacitated that creature, you could probably remove the gem with medicine as well, and likewise keep it alive. And with a natural 20, though it's not pertaining to the gem, these creatures, they don't begin as Slades. They almost always begin as a different humanoid.
Oh. Okay. What happens? Do I know what happens if we kill a Slade that the gem was imprisoning?
Yeah, with that check, you just have control of a passive control gem, and if you know one of those spells, you could use them to use this to control another Slade, should you find one.
If someone else, like a spellcaster, could they use it on someone who's holding it? Or is it like you have to hold the gem and then use it, or do you give them the gem and you cast it on them?
This would be held by the caster and then targeted at a Slade. A Slade. It would not work on a humanoid. Make a history check.
I wasted all that luck on the 20. 7.
That 20 was doing work, though. Yeah, you just got like 3 minutes worth of information.
There are immensely powerful items, and you've heard that there's probably one that could like capture any creature, but you're not familiar with what it is or where it might be.
Okay, so I say all that.
This is a frog-type specific Pokeball, and then there's also a master of all balls. one ball to roll on the mall.
Yeah.
And
you know that famous line written by Jolkin, Rolkin.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Shay has it all the way in Dominion.
Oh.
So are we done? Are we moving on?
Should we walk away from this circle?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
We should be careful if we see one of those things again. When it hit me, I felt like I wouldn't be able to heal myself.
I also felt that. It felt like...
Yeah, ow. So I show Valis, I'm like, right? Ow. Ow.
So
I don't feel diseased. I feel like I passed some kind of check. While we are kind of reconvening, Alina is going to check out her cloak and like kind of just assess these changes that seem to have happened.
No changes. You look down and the foliage seems totally normal, but looking back in your trail, there are just a trail of autumnal fallen leaves.
Ooh. Okay, so it wasn't that my appearance changed, it's that things happened externally.
I mean, you couldn't see yourself, but for anybody else looking...
I'm looking.
Right, and so right now, nothing is different. Okay. In that moment, as you rolled that natural 20, things changed. There was a visible difference, like almost like you are looking at something overlaid over top something else, and then that just flickers out and you are back to normal, but there is physical, tangible evidence of that change.
You went Super Saiyan.
What?
You went Super Saiyan.
So having kind of understood that, do I recognize this as any particular phenomena that I've heard before? Maybe related to Cernunos? I don't know.
You know that Cernunnos is loosely aligned with the Autumn Court. And so, yeah, that definitely tracks.
Have I ever heard of this type of thing happening to anybody else, like in Thornholm? Or like, apocryphal tales, anything like that?
Make a history check. And make it an advantage.
Yeah.
Yes, the Apocrypha.
Questions. We love apocryphal things. That's caught. It's the same number. 15.
15. So there's this like ancient tree that has been hollowed out while still keeping it alive in your hometown, that has formed this kind of lodge, and there's an individual there that keeps it and talks to people, and we'll tell stories all the time. And you remember this individual talking about in older times, back when there was still much more danger and there wasn't peace between all four of these major powers, three back then, that there was an individual who captured Cernunnos' attention enough through their great deeds, because they would have told you very specifically, Cernunnos more removed than many Archfey from the daily happenings. And I mean, you've talked to Hearsome directly, and Hearsome comes to Thornholm. Cernunnos doesn't really like come to Thornholm. It takes a lot to pull his attention, and the attention is really pulled through things that protect the forest, things that protect the Feywild. And so you can be sure that when this happens, you are on a path that is bringing you closer to that.
The righteous path, yes.
Depending on what Alina feels about
Right,
Cernunnos.
yeah. It sounds like her community at least would consider it the righteous path.
If you were, yes, there would be a feast being planned right now if you were at home.
All right, cool. Thank you. She's gonna tuck that memory away for
Cool.
later.
You do. For the rest of you, you now stand a little bit past this circle on the other side of the stones, kind of collecting yourselves. Is there anything that you're doing before you kind of continue on? And if you are continuing on, in what direction?
Minka's gonna try to look around for any of like the arrows
Okay.
that were like shot at us.
Yeah, you look around and
Alina's
right
like,
where they
here
were.
we go.
Yeah. Alina, first of all, pulls one out, and there's a gout of blood. I mean, the backward facing part like pulls your flesh away. But you also find two more on the ground.
Yeah. And then so they had like breaking, fletching, and unusual wood.
Yeah, very unusual wood. So this wood, it looks like there is almost like some kind of an application to the areas that would normally be like empty knots. This is wood that is not good for arrows. It looks like it would have all these gaps and like holes in it, but it's been filled with some kind of a material that has then hardened into almost like a glass. It's beautiful. There is artistry to these arrows, but they're very unfamiliar to you.
Are they mundane?
Yes.
Alina's gonna like unsling the bag of holding and be like, maybe we should keep some? Or,
Yeah, I think so. At the very least, maybe someone eventually will know what they are. We'll have answers to questions that we probably should have.
Probably get going.
Okay, cool. Arrow into the bag.
Okay. So you put these arrows in the bag. You can add 3 arrows to your inventory. If you want, and if you will remember, you can put something to designate what they are. They have lore to them. And so you just need to remind me where you got them when you bring them back up.
I'm just gonna do a little description
Cool.
of what you said and
So for the rest of you guys begin to walk. Are you heading north again?
Look, I want to ask, did Rez relay any information to you before he died?
He saw like some swirls of mist indicating maybe there were some things on either side of us, and then
Was he able to tell us that the hill was due west of where we are?
I don't remember where we were.
It was due. So when you look through his eyes, it was due west of where you currently are, like at this moment. And so that indicates that you have actually been making progress to the north.
Okay.
Not anywhere near as much as you would like. I mean, there was a period of time where you guys were going in circles, but
Do I think, based on kind of what Rez's last moment of experience was, that he was taken down by this archer? Like, did it seem like he was shot with an arrow?
he was certainly shot with an arrow.
Did you see through his eyes when he went? Were you looking through his eyes?
Yes, but my understanding was that he didn't see What? Shot him.
I'm trying to figure out, do I know the hill is due west, in which case, and it sounds like
You do.
you saw, okay, then
Currently, we know for sure, yes.
should we head for that hill? Seems like a good marker as any, or due north.
I don't see why not. And we saw it kind of poking up again above the fog, right?
Just a little bit, yeah.
So it's like, a landmark. We can maybe get our bearings. At the very least, just take a breather out of this soup.
Try that.
Should I keep glowing?
Keep what?
Glowing?
You can see like the form of the archer behind Minka as they are shedding 30 feet of brilliant light.
Does it
If you
seem
want.
to
It
be
does look
making
nice,
any
though.
difference in terms of like the mist? Does it
It's
seem
kind of
like,
harder to see in your
piercing it?
immediate
Oh, okay.
distance because,
Visibility.
like, if you've ever put the high beams on
I-
this,
yeah.
Yeah, we don't. We're good. Yeah, it's hard to see.
Okay. And she'll drop it.
I was making a puppet show while she was dropping it.
they disappear.
It's like trying to use your high beams, and it just makes it worse.
Exactly like that, yeah.
Billy starts walking in the general direction of the hill and says we should.
Yeah,
Okay.
I follow.
You begin to walk. Who is you're leading, Billy? Go ahead and make a survival check. Or sorry, you're already in the woods. Make a roll a d100.
Guidance, so that helps.
No,
For
you don't roll. Guidance doesn't. You know what? Sure, you can add guidance to your d100. That will be fun.
Nothing bad will happen, right?
Watch it. I'm hoping that it breaks the 100.
It doesn't, unfortunately. I rolled a 57 and I guidanced 3.
Okay, so 60.
The number that you thought you rolled first.
Billy, you begin to lead the group. You head off to the west to find this hillside that Valis is sure about. And as you begin to move, after maybe like 100 feet of travel, give or take, you can see, and from up above, you can't actually see his head anymore, but Okermane, the voice kind of comes down. The fog grows thick. Are we headed in the right direction?
What were the names of the hags again? There was the Dream Eater, the Nightmare, and
Stylus knows.
Hesitate.
And go back.
Yeah, hesitate.
You can't stop me. Can't stop me.
Aura.
Aura and Shari.
One is the hypnosis, one is the dream eater, one is nightmare.
Shar is hag of sleep. Aura is the hag of nightmares, and then hesitate is terror sweat.
I believe you heard her called the Terror Sweat Connoisseur.
Yeah. That didn't answer my question. Billy,
Is fogs growing thick good or bad?
it's generally bad. And it's never a good thing when things change weirdly. Okermane, are you able to keep up with us? But, oh no, that's not gonna work either.
You like to send through the mist as... I can always keep up with you. You're quite small.
Yeah, but if you can't see us and we lose sight of each other, if you've lost sight of us, then you're just following a voice, and voices can be taken.
As long as you stay nearby, I can feel you as you walk upon the ground.
Hopefully that works. Continuing.
You continue to walk. The mist grows thicker, significantly thicker, to the point where you can really only see about 10 feet ahead of you. Billy, more so than ever, you are noticing that as you walk, there are pretty clear places that you can see the ground in front of you, almost laid out like a path. Are you following that, or are you just going to stick into the mist itself?
Billy pulls the rope from her pack and makes the preschool chain.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Amazing.
Everyone hold on.
No, not just holding. Alina like ties it around her waist and like helps Billy tie it around her. Like it's not an option. Alina's just like tie.
So real important, who's tying themselves together?
I'm not tying myself together.
Oh, no.
That seems like a Wait.
Well, not that you put it on.
Are we holding
no.
on to this?
So
or
Alina
tying
and
it?
Billy have already done
Holding
that.
on.
Mink is holding on to it. Valis is holding on to it. Mink, are you tying it around you as you see Alina and Billy join themselves?
Is that what you want to happen, or are you just like...
Alina started it. Billy's gonna just go with it.
Okay, but then Alina's like, wait a second. Maybe being tied together isn't a good idea?
Just buy me a new rope when we have to eventually cut it.
Okay.
Minka's having like a war in her mind of just like
You're holding a big loop, and you can either choose to like put it over yourself or just like pull it taut and have it just be a line, and you're just like not sure which way to go.
yeah, she's basically just holding and she's finally just like, I will put this on,
Okay.
Peer pressure.
and just ties herself,
Okay.
and then immediately is just like
And up in the air.
just like hands up like I don't know about this.
Billy, Alina, and Minka have tied themselves together, and the rest not. Good to know.
Billy also kind of hands Ogremane the loose end just to hold on to.
Okay. He just bends down and you like give it to him. He pulls it back up and it like goes up. And who's in the back of this line? Or who actually, I guess, Billy, you're in the front. Almost like lifts you off your feet at the very end before like the arm drops down. And every time that he steps forwards and the arm swings forwards, you kind of get tugged. Just it's not enough that it's even like uncomfortable, but it's just enough that it's noticeable. And Billy, you recognize, and everybody else who is behind, you see Billy is kind of skipping through the woods.
Oh my gosh.
But because it is 10 o'clock, as you approach an area where the ground is growing steadily more and more damp, this is where we're going to end for the evening. But thank you for joining us for this session of Adventures in Alberon Courts of Everest. It's been so good to be able to play after such a long layoff. We're going to be back next week. If you can't wait that long, you could join us on Sunday on YouTube when we're going to re-air this session and Mosaic Team 5. But please stay safe. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.